All right, we should be live. I hope we're live. So we'll give people a few minutes to jump in here. While we're waiting, guys, how did you think about the Super Bowl last night? Did you guys watch that?
God, we did.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I watched the second half, which I guess was the better half because at least both teams scored.
I mean, and that's saying something. Sorry, like it was it's tough to watch, man. I kind of felt for the Chiefs for a little bit.
For sure.
They looked old and slow last night. I mean, the Eagles were so much faster. It was amazing the difference, and like they were playing two different games out there.
Yeah, it was like watching a train wreck though. Like it was hard to look away because
it was.
Really, we all kind of wanted that to happen, unless you're a Chiefs fan. But at the same time, it's just like, God, now we're gonna have to hear another year about the Chiefs as they like recover from the Super Bowl, and it's gonna become a storyline.
Am I able to share this?
You should.
No, I can't find. Sorry, I know this is like a great like podcast thing.
I don't think you might not be able to share it when it's live. Actually,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. I don't think I can. I don't have a link. I can't see anywhere that's offering me like a link or.
Hold on,
settings.
I can send you a link to share. So let me find it here.
Oh, there we go.
Weird.
Which is great for the podcast.
I just don't want it to be the StreamYard link because we don't want like everyone just
yeah, we don't want everybody jumping in here.
Yeah. So weird.
Let me pull this up here. Anyway, we gotta give people a few minutes to get on here anyway. So
yeah, you're good.
Absolutely.
How's everyone else? I'm looking at the chat right now. How's everyone going?
I got the chat up here, Sean.
How's it going?
Yeah, I am going to say that we can see the chat. So if you guys want to post questions, topics, we'll definitely interact with you guys. So
yeah,
definitely. All right, I sent you a link there.
Sweet.
That should be the link for the.
Okay. Thanks very much.
There.
Cool.
Gotcha. So, rookie spill.
There we go.
All right. So we got. I don't know how many people got on here. I don't know if we can see, but we're gonna go get started with this. Jump in as guys come in. We'll kind of recap some of this, but. Guys, everybody, tonight I have with me the Big Asp Podcast, Sean and Dane. They're actually guests this time as opposed to hosting, so we're kind of flipping the script on them. This is a good chance if you guys have questions for them, post them up in the chat. I'll ask them. We'll get them to answer pretty much anything. I think we'll get them to answer. I'll make them answer.
Oh, we
also
make.
We're not
come on now.
scared.
Exactly.
You probably don't have to. You'll just answer them anyway, right?
Yeah, we're good.
I may have to get you to stop answering some questions, maybe.
Yeah, shame's not something we really have. So
that's true. I've listened to your podcast. That's very true.
I hope that's good or bad.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to just riding your coattails on this one. Like you said, we are not hosting, so
I'm intentionally trying not to say anything. So we're good. I'm doing well, right?
He's been more quiet in the last 30 seconds than I think in the last 6 years we've done a podcast together. So
I don't have a problem talking, so I talk sometimes too much, so we'll be all right.
All right, sweet.
In this stream here, I would let you guys know that I am doing some giveaways. So shout out to In The Bag Cornhole. I'll post this up here. They actually reached out. They reached out to me and I said if they could just give us one thing to give away, and they actually wanted to do 4.
Hell yeah!
So shout out to In The Bag Cornhole. We're giving away a backpack, a cornhole sling, a set of bag pouches, and cornhole board covers as well. So 4 giveaways tonight.
We're not eligible, right?
Damn.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I guess you could. I don't know. I mean, if you know the answers, I think. Well, actually, you might know a couple of them because they're actually related to you.
That's okay.
I reached out to you a couple of times on some of those. So I will say that one. So there are going to be 4 different questions that I'm going to pose during the stream here, and it'll just be kind of first one to answer correctly. They're not going to be. I don't think they're things you can Google. I tried to make them more specific to certain things. I will say one of the answers will be found on In The Bag Cornhole's website, so inthebagcornhole.com. So you might want to make sure you've got that up or have access to that, because that's going to be more of a who can get there quickly to find the answer. The other one's going to be more of a guess.
So that we can have whatever we want. Well, awesome. Much love.
Look at that.
There you go. See?
Careful what you wish for.
So, but yeah, so if you guys have something where you can go up and pull up your computer or your phone and pull up In The Bag Cornhole, get that ready. I'll announce those giveaways here in a bit. But in the meantime, we're here to talk about the Best of the Bags tournament that's actually started today. Went live today.
Yes, it did. Off to the races.
I think the first question I have for you guys is how did this all start?
We were brainstorming the one day, and we needed to do something that was going to like just separate us. And we wanted what's a way that we can get traffic to our page they're going to get
middle
people
of the
to,
February.
Yeah.
There wasn't much cornhole going on. And funny enough, like I think we were watching like the seeding show or something for March Madness. And we're like, well, what if we do this but for bags?
Yeah.
And just kind of rolled it in from there.
I mean, and that was back in 2020.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a whole lot going on at that time. And at the time, our first bracket ever, we only had, it was 16 bags. So it was two sides, 8 bags. And again, like back then, there were like cornhole bags were even more regional than what they are now.
For
you know what I mean? Like it was very like you had your pockets of Reynolds, like especially where we were, like Reynolds was kind of king. But then you had this hot new bag coming out that was kind of breaking all over the place. And you started having other cornhole companies like kind of embrace social media marketing and getting more popular and getting the word out. So really for us, like we wanted a way, like what's a way that we can kind of promote like smaller bag companies that because we were still finding out about new ones like every week, it seemed like.
Yeah.
So if we figured we can somehow make this into like a fun contest, and we were very fortunate, the first companies that were kind of in there kind of loved it. We didn't talk about it. We were still very small at the time, and it kind of just put us on the map, and they were all really supportive and gave us a bunch of giveaways. So we were able to, get a little bit of a following after that. And then it was, pretty good success. And we just wanted to keep growing it year after year.
So, and that started on Facebook. So it's always been on Facebook, the voting.
Yep.
Been doing it the same way. We even talked about it this year. I'm like, we're trying to revamp stuff. Like, do I change the look of the voting poll? But it's literally been the same thing for 6 years. So like, it's almost like nostalgic at this point where I just like, I have the template saved to my phone. Like let's just use it and just kind of roll with it.
Did we do groups of 4-year one, or was it always just 2?
It was still 2.
Okay.
It's always been head to head. Yeah. It's way more manageable. Yeah,
for you.
I think I missed the appropriate start here. Bill put it up there. The what you drinking. We kind of missed that on that already.
Unfortunately, I'm not doing anything tonight just because it's been back-to-back days of what you drinking kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just going with the finest purified water from Giant Eagle actually tonight.
And mine's from the Brita filter. Unfortunately, I have to be up at like 3:50 to take a coworker to the airport in the morning. So. Yeah, it's going to be like an hour worth of driving to pick them up and bring them back. So I gotta get to bed at some point.
Yeah, that sucks.
So yeah,
that's an early morning right there for you.
Yes, it is.
I've got the Penelope Valencias I'm drinking tonight. So
I mean, I will live vicariously through you tonight.
Yes,
I went pretty easy last night in the Super Bowl, so tonight's my night. So
we recorded last night and we didn't indulge then.
Yeah,
so I held the true spirit of the episode.
Yeah, I crushed like 6 IPAs throughout the day. Like,
yeah,
it was a good day.
So
back to the best of the bags. There's one thing I do want to apologize to you guys. I feel like 3 years ago, I think I commented on one of when you had the fast and slow brackets. I think I commented that I thought you had a bag in the slow bracket that belonged to the fast. And I've learned this year that there's a lot of people that just complain about the bracket. I mean, has it always been like this? I mean.
Always. So I think this is actually originally where I had to come up with like the whole like post and ghost concept where I'll go on and I'll respond. But when I say post and ghost, is more like I don't let like the negative stuff bother me all the time. It used to bother me all the time. Now it's only like every once in a while, Dane can attest. Like I still get fired up by stuff, and that's typically when I'll like rattle something back. But for the most part, like I just try to ignore it. And it's the people they're always going to complain about something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're never going to make everyone happy. So we do try to pull on people like on Patreon. We do try to ask questions, like where do you guys enjoy? Like, do you guys want, 2 brackets, 3 brackets? Do we need to, exclude? What do you think speeds are? And the biggest complaint consistently year after year has always been speed of the bags.
Mm-hmm.
Always. It's kind of subjective, right? Like it's as much as we want to put like objective information to it, like it's just really tough because the testing principles just aren't consistent across every single league, and if you have a stamp or not a stamp, so speed is somewhat subjective. So we did take some liberty with that, and at the time slow bag was king, right? Everyone's throwing carpet, everyone was learning the flop and roll. So the fast bag at the time was that bracket was kind of thin, so we took some liberties and maybe added a material over there that wasn't technically fast, but you're always going to get complaints.
Well, we also had some instances where people were complaining about bags with the same fabric being in like this bag's slow. I'm like, it's the exact same bag that's going up against right now. They're the same fabrics. Like there's not much difference between the two. So I mean, and then flash forward to this year, 128 unique bag makers. Like hell yeah,
people still aren't happy.
I mean, I love it though. To me, it kind of just took everything out of it of being it's no longer, battle the bag. We just need the little hyphen of bag maker in there. But correct. It is specific to one bag. So, if you're a BG guy, but you don't throw the wizard, you don't have to vote for the wizard. Okay. Just battle the bags.
So can I address one of the comments real quick, just like before we go further?
I already know which one you're gonna throw in there.
So Edward, So Edward, I want to. Okay, so there has been 1 year, and it was 2 years ago. If there was somebody, a bag maker, who admitted to purchasing bots to come and vote for him. Now, he didn't understand quite how it worked, and it got out of control, and he ended up with like 4,000 votes in like 10 minutes, and it was crazy, and we knew something was up, right? Yeah. Now, last year, a lot of people started complaining that there were bot accounts voting for Sub-Zero Bag Company because a lot of the names, you click on them, and they look like, oh my God, like every other 10 accounts that we get friend requests.
In this name to be a real name.
Way too many consonants, not enough vowels. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's no way I'm pronouncing that thing. So we started looking into it. Well, apparently Sub-Zero has a huge following with the Hmong community in Minnesota, and they were just like super loyal. And every grandma, cousin, brothers,
and we're not talking like 100 to, we're talking thousands.
We're
thousands
just pouring
out
in
there.
So they weren't bots. Like, they were just a loyal community of people, whether they played cornhole or not. That's not what this is necessarily about. This is just about getting the name out of every bag maker. And Sub-Zero definitely burst onto the scene last year. Like, they were very popular regionally, obviously, but across the country, not many people maybe had heard of them yet. But now most people have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I mean, DLE is part of that Hmong community, but if you look up like DLE, her real Facebook account, again, it's a name I can't pronounce.
Yeah.
She said it on her show though.
She struggles saying it.
Exactly.
So
I gave her kudos for trying.
Correct.
Well, that's an interesting thing too. Is does Sub-Zero maintain that community voting for them, or do they follow Dia to all cornhole this year?
That's the big question. And
without them, does Sub-Zero, how far do they go without that community? Because like I said, that was a lot of votes going for them every round.
I am banking on, and based off our rankings of bags, I'm banking that a lot of them are going to go with all cornhole, or they're going to back both of them. You know what I mean? So, you get a little bit of
I think it's very easy to back both of them in this one. So
yeah, I was going through the bracket myself because we had talked about maybe coming up with our final four, and I was going through the bracket, and there's no real clear cut winners.
No,
I mean maybe BG has a decent path, but even them, I just wonder if the other bag makers, or if you're a fan of a different bag maker, are these people going to start voting against BG in order to give their bags a better chance to advance? Because
they tried it last year though. You had BG against the world last year, right? Like, you had the bot army of the Hmong community coming at them in droves, and they still couldn't take it down. That's true. Because this is year 6, we have some analytics to kind of go by.
Yeah.
So I say in the first round, if you get over 500 votes in the first round, it means like you're a certified stud, and you could potentially, you're going to make a very deep run. BG had 700 votes or something, 800 votes by like 6 hours into the bracket open. Like, they are going to be, and that's first round. This is like, they're going to get, no offense to fan bags, we love you guys, but like, they're going against a company most people have never even heard of.
But you're also
and they're still getting that many votes.
But fan bags is also a company that has 10,000 plus followers.
Correct. So I think if you're like one of these middle tier ones, like, because we always get that run, you have to start looking at the numbers and how many people they're pulling in this first round when they're all trying, right? Yeah. They all think they have a shot. If you can get to like 400 votes, you have my attention. That may be going on to the next round. All right, maybe you have enough to kind of get into it.
Well, but you need somebody also to gain steam to go up against the juggernaut and have enough people that are anti-establishment to vote for that bag.
For sure.
So,
for sure,
as the later rounds go through, that's where we start seeing a couple more of those oddball upsets. I feel like.
And I'll tip the cap to the ACO. They've taken the challenge and they've really promoted the shit out of it. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, I like it
so far. And I really enjoy that. The ACL historically has not done that. There's been a few bag makers that have like gotten into it, but for the most part, they've always been like, we're too cool for it. But like, I think they like winning.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, because when we start getting down to final 8, I'll start reaching out to all of them and be like, hey, like, just making sure we all kind of know that like whoever wins this, you're going to give us bags giveaway, right? Yeah. We're all good. Like, we're good. All right. So just
figure it out.
So,
well, I'm going to give a shout out to CBC because they've really gotten behind pushing the ACO into this. And for those of you watching, if you're not following CBC's Facebook page, go jump on there. They do a podcast think it's every Wednesday they go live on Facebook, and they're gonna be doing a lot of giveaways. If an ACO bag company wins or one of their bags wins, they're gonna be doing giveaways for that. So you might want to jump in and be part of that. If you want to get some free bags, some free apparel on there. And I've seen some other companies jumping as well. So that's something else I'll tell you guys is when the posts go up, you tend to tag the Facebook page if the bag maker has a Facebook page, correct?
Always.
Yes.
And so before I make the post itself, I make sure I go and I follow, because if I follow them, I can tag them. Like some accounts they have private settings on. There's nothing I can do. There's only been one so far that does not have an active cornhole page, and it kind of surprised me. It was Killer Bees. Their matchup's coming up tomorrow. Now I know Ben has a Facebook page, and I think he does most of the stuff just through word of mouth now. But Killer Bees does not have an active Facebook page. So they're going to miss out on like that easy promotion. I think that they still could win the first round just because they've been around for a while. People like their bags, but that's going to hurt them in the long run for sure.
Well, I mean, you'd hope somebody would tag Ben like in it.
I wasn't going to do it.
No, we can't.
I mean? Like
we'll tag the page, but if you don't have the page, then it is what it is.
And what I say to you guys, if you're voting or if you're looking at voting, when you see that, go click on that link. I mean, if you want to be bribed, you might see if they're running a giveaway on their Facebook page or something for a vote. So if you don't have a preference in that matchup and you want to be a free agent, go check them out and see who's offering you the best, making you the best offer.
Yeah, exactly. And I hate when people just like don't vote because they don't know either bag company.
Yeah.
Who cares? This is your chance to go check them out. See, it might be something that you like. A lot of these companies have sweet artwork. It's different for everybody. So
correct.
Check all of these out.
Literally why we do
their
it.
time of day. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't recognize the companies, click on that Facebook post and go look at them. Go see if they have a webpage. Go check them out. Get to know them. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this is to bring recognition to these
some of them could be like, only an hour away from you. You don't even know about it.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what a lot of these. I mean, with 128 different bag companies, there are going to be a lot of them. You're not. I mean, when we set this bracket up, there were some that we had no idea who they were.
No, we had to do some deep research.
If we don't know, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there voting that are going to have no idea who they are either. So
and I think it also, if we're going like a little bit of like the business side of things, like for a second to nerd out, it also goes definitely into like SEO terms. You know what I mean? Like if you're coming up with a company name that's like difficult, or you thought it was like kind of trendy to like make a Facebook page out of it, well, it's so impossible to find.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it really is tough. Or if you name your Facebook page one thing, but you're constantly like abbreviating it, like on everything that you do marketing wise, it's tough to find. Like, do I search like Young Guns, or is it YG Cornhole, or is it, you know what I mean? Like it's tough to find some of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. You really got to, I mean, I think the problem is sometimes these guys come up with their company names before they think about that point, right?
Oh,
they're coming up with a name, something that's good, to make sense to you. It's something that's local, whatever. And then you realize, oh wait, I need something that's relatable. People can remember when they're out there looking. So,
I mean, because 95% of the bag companies out there are like mom and pop shops right now. You know what I mean? It's a guy that's grinding in his basement. He's doing it because he really likes it. Maybe it's like a creative outlet for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like they don't have the thought process of like looking that far ahead. They're just happy that someone is buying their bags. And then if they happen to get popular and they start booming, like it's like, oh shit, it's probably too late for that.
Yeah.
So going back to kind of the history of this, has there been a bag that's shocked you, whether it was Sub-Zero last year or another company that you didn't expect to do what it did?
So I think it was year 2 of the contest. I think they lost in the finals. Maybe it was lost in the finals, or they took third. It was the Cooper's Bag Company, the SOB3, and it's they don't even have like Cooper's Bags. That's what he goes by cornhole wise. But his Facebook page was Cooper's Woodworks Plus.
Yeah,
it was Cooper's Woodworking Plus. And the guy just happened to find the show. He sent us bags. They were really nice bags.
Dude.
But like they're not ACL stamped or at the time, like no one else had ever seen.
Isn't he from Minnesota? I think
you're right.
Yeah, I think he's from Minnesota.
And it was the craziest. It was the first time that we saw like the power of like the cornhole community and just what a bunch of local people wanted to do just to support like a really good guy in their cornhole league. You know what I mean? Like it was, and they backed him and they almost made it all the way through.
Yeah.
And I think he did take second that year.
Who took it down that year?
Well, I don't want to ruin it in case it's a trivia question later.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm not trying to.
The second year, it's only the. In fact, I'll throw that out here in a minute. There, the second year was not a trivia question. So
okay, so the second year winner was actually Big Daddy Carnage.
Oh God, that's right.
Yes, do you remember?
I do remember that, man. That's
yes. So it was a walk.
Love that bag.
Yes, it was a great bag. Super unique. Have you ever thrown that bag, Mike?
The Carnage, yes, I have. Yep.
Yeah. It was never their original. It was never quite was so much better. And then they kind of tweaked everything.
Well, I think it was the fill availability had a lot to do with it.
But the original was probably one of your favorite bags.
Still have it. It's in that closet right there. Love them.
I had an old set that was a collaboration with Airwolf Athletics.
Oh, okay.
Set of Carnage I had. It's I mean, I don't even know if I still have them.
Shout out to Brandon. He might be watching this. We don't even know. He might just be lurking in the shadows. We love Airwolf Athletics. He's one of the best dudes out there, and makes some of the best merch out there too.
Hell yeah!
Free plug.
That's right. All right, I'm gonna pull up here. We're gonna announce the first giveaway here. So I'm gonna do some pouches. We're gonna give away a set of pouches here, and since we're talking about the best of the bags in the history, the first trivia question for you guys out there is which bag, and it's a two-part question. Which bag won the first year on the best of the bags, and who did they defeat in the finals?
The year was 2020.
I need the winning. You can put the winning bag first, and then who they bought second or whatever. I need both bags, the names of the bags.
I will be impressed because I think you can get the winning bag. I will be super impressed if someone gets second who they beat, because that's doing some research right there.
I mean, it's reeling through my brain right now, and
you can find it though. If you can, I'm not gonna tell people how to find it, but you can find it. It's out there.
Yeah,
I found it today, so I was doing my own research. As I was sitting in my daughter's dance in a waiting room full of dance moms, little kids running around, I'm like just doing hard-nosed research for you guys.
So you're just
scrolling. My fingers flying, man, flying. Praying the Wi-Fi was holding up.
I was trying to find trivia questions that people could just Google. It's who's the fastest. I want to find something to take some work to do. That's why I sent you that message, because I was trying to look and I couldn't find that myself. Okay. So I was like, okay, I hope you know, Sean.
I'll let you know my secrets afterwards.
Gotta go
deep. So, and who wins this will win a set of, I think it's a 5-pack of pouches from In The Bag Cornhole. So I got the little banner up there as well. You just shoot me an email, MikesCornholeBags.
Actually, I'll be so impressed if someone finds this. I'll give them a set of bags too. I'll donate a set of bags to the soul to fill them in the pouch.
It's funny, the chat's on silent, so they're all searching.
Southwest Bagger Company, we got these sweet custom hefes in there.
Yeah,
I'll send you those. They're sweet. No, I have them.
Yeah, I love the hefes. They're probably my favorite bag that Southwest makes. The hefes.
And he's like one of our favorite dudes, and his design work is just second to none. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, we'll get it. We'll keep it up.
Ultra no, sorry, no, Edward.
False.
Carnage. No. All right, they're starting to come in now. Starting to trickle in.
That was year two. We'll repeat the question maybe in a few minutes, just to give the chat another.
Yeah, well, I'm going to see who comes up, and then if not, we'll repeat it again. And maybe we'll give a few hints if we need to.
For sure.
First one that posts it in the chat will be the winner. So I'm going to go by just what shows up in the chat.
Killshot Draco series, no. Pro Advantages and 357, no. Good guesses though.
It's interesting.
He's in the right era.
Yeah. You are in the right era, Dylan.
Yeah. The Pro Advantages were actually popular back then, weren't they?
Yeah.
I forgot about 357s. That was a good bag too.
We have the winner.
There it is.
Oh wow.
Winner. Wow.
That was quick.
JT the Ginger. Wow. Hell yeah, that is correct. It was Killshot's RPG was the winner. And the big drama that year was that the most popular bag of Killshots was actually the 357, but everyone wanted the RPG so bad that ended up like pulling out and making the finals.
That was what Duncan Clemmer and Kyle Malone,
correct,
or not Clemmer. What was his name?
Yes, Kyle Malone and I know Dalton
McClem. Yes, close. Similar names.
Well done. Wow.
Yeah, when they took it down,
I'm impressed that happened that quickly.
They're hard to get.
Well, I'm telling you that you can find it. Like I found it faster than I thought it was going to on Facebook. If you just type in 2020 best of bags final, it came up. It was like the first.
I didn't know what year the first year was, so
it did help a little bit.
Yeah, that narrowed it down.
Oh yeah, so yeah, just I guess Mike, you can get his info and just give me his address.
JT, just shoot me an email, MikesCornholeBags@gmail.com, and with your name and address, I'll get you that information in the bag cornhole, and they'll get those pouches out to you guys. I
will say the RPG, as much as it pains me to say, was a great bag.
It was,
and the 357, the OG 357, still to this day might be my favorite bag.
But if any bag maker would come out with the RPG nowadays, everyone would bitch about it because that thing
so long
took
to break in.
6 months to break in. But once you finally did, my God, it was a fantastic bag. So
I don't remember. I remember the 357s, the original ones, and those were good bags. I don't know if I ever threw the RPGs. I don't remember those bags.
They were almost impossible to get your hands on.
Yeah.
Like I probably paid way too much money at the time.
I still have a set in that.
The best thing about Pro Shops at the time was everything was handmade, but they had zero quality control. So I had a set of orange RPGs that I took.
Remember the triangle bags?
Yeah, no, the one with the rectangle.
Rectangle.
It was like a legit like brick, and everything else was square. So like I'm like, when do you? So they actually started a conversation like, when do you throw? Like this was back in the day when you get like the different filled corn, like one's fresh, and one's broken. When do you throw like your favorite one? Do you start off the round with your favorite bag, or do you end it?
I always saved it if I needed it for a big shot. Otherwise, I wanted my fourth bag. My fourth bag was always that one you wanted confidence in, right? You wanted to make sure that fourth bag, especially if your first three went in, you want to make sure you had confidence.
My last bag is always the worst, anyways.
That's true.
So like, I'm almost like it'd be wasted.
You didn't want to waste it on the
hot starter.
Let me go ahead and get 9, and then I know
would be money on a crew cup team if you could throw back-to-back bags first. Just your first 2 bags, just find that line, and then I'm good. Don't have to worry about it.
100%.
Crew Cup is something that I wish was bigger than what it's. I every time I play Crew Cup, I enjoy it, but I never think about it.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of work to set a tournament up. Like you need a lot of people to do Crew Cup as well. But
you do, or you just make it a quick tournament. Who cares?
Yeah, sometimes in my league, we'll just if we have like 8 people left at the end, we'll just do a quick game. But it's always fun. I almost wish that it was there were more Crew Cup tournaments out there.
Yeah, there's
I think
so
I would
much
go
more shit talking with Crew Cup.
Oh yeah.
It just makes everything. There's more levity to it.
Yeah. Even if you are the reason your team's losing, like you don't feel quite as bad.
Exactly.
It's like you guys could have picked it up. Yeah. I mean, there's
it's not your fault. You're only throwing half the bags and only half the round, so it's not your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would have made my shot if the guy in front of me didn't put a blocker in front of me. You know,
wow.
Partnership was blocking me.
In the comments, Robert Bain says, "I still have a pair of RPG lions at one time." Now, if those are the OG RPG lions, at one time you should have sold those.
Yes, you would have made those were worth probably $800.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, at one time those were probably worth. Somebody would have paid $600 or $700. Now, at one time, embarrassing to admit, I had the entire collection of OG greenback lions, like the original lions, one of every set. I was lucky. I was
collector's edition.
Yeah, but then I sold them off. Yeah, but.
It's like Beanie
once
Babies.
I got there, once I got the full set, just snap the picture.
Except cornhole's value, like the bags value, dropped even quicker than
they're
Beanie
OG.
Babies.
They're great bags, man. The OG greenback lines. That was like probably the first bag that everyone wanted. Like that started the whole collector's craze. And then I think bag makers after that point were kind of like, oh, like people care about the artwork.
Yeah.
Even though it was a stock artwork that he stole from Google and just slapped on a bag, but he had the sweet green back to it. You know what I mean? Like he just made something. And he was smart. He made them like exclusive. Like there's only so many of them each one made.
Well, that's because that's all he could keep up with at the time.
Correct. Yeah. Well, they don't need to know that.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. I didn't even know like hijack and going on side tangent.
No, I was made me think about it. Thankfully, I got rid of a lot of my bags. When I started doing the reviews, I started getting rid of bags. I had too many of them. And thankfully, when I got rid of them, the market was still halfway decent. So I recouped some of my money, not all of it. But I mean, yeah, it's crazy to think where it was and people were paying crazy prices, or you're waiting a year for cornhole.
Were you a little bit of a bag collector then? Like, did you ever pay? Yeah. What's the most you ever paid for one set of bags?
Probably close to 300, maybe 280, 300, somewhere in there was the most I paid for a set of bags. I think. Okay. I don't think I ever went much over 300.
It might ask Sean that same question.
What was the most you paid, Sean?
I was able to talk the guy down to $480.
Jeez.
So they were a set. They're 1 of 1. They are. You're familiar with Matty King, the original owner of Dragon Bags, right? Yes. And he his first bag company was still the bag company that's today was Razor Bags. Was Matty King's original company. So he made one set of bags where he wanted to combine both bags before he was officially off Razor Bags and couldn't use their logo. So I have the first set of. The last set of Razor Bags, first set of Dragon Bags like ever made. Like it's the 2 logos on either side. So it was more of just I was a huge fan of Dragon Bags always, and I used to collect like the OG Razors. So it was like the one bag I wanted. There was only one.
Was that the eye? Was it the green eye on it? Like the dragon's eye?
Yes.
On the one side?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a sweet design.
Yep. So
you still have those?
Oh yeah. They're like all the OG Razors and that bag. Like I still have like safely stored in my garage. Like so.
Yeah, mine was a set of Cornhole Scenario, the Cat 2s. Yeah, I love those cat. That was my favorite bag. Cornhole Scenario.
I still have my frictions floating around that I bust out whenever
the frictions
around the house. Yeah, those were one of my favorites too.
I
think I still have them. I hope I still have them. They're somewhere. I don't even know where they are.
Yeah, that's a problem we have. I mean, like, it was to the point like where both our wives were like, this is getting ridiculous. Like, you guys have got to do something. Like, there's just bags everywhere. So
that's what my wife said to me.
100.
Oh yeah, it's impossible to stay up with.
Yeah, I think
my wife said to me that's why I started doing reviews. Like, I had to have a reason to be having and buying all these bags. Like, okay, this is why I'm buying them now, because I have to review them. That's what started it. That was one of the reasons I started doing this, just to justify my bag addiction that I had.
In the Bag Cornhole. You're looking for a history of bags? All right, we could probably do that.
Send us some old bags.
Yeah, he's looking for some old school but original bags for display.
Oh, man, I have some. I mean,
how old are we talking? Are we going back to like, early cornhole, or like?
Is this going in a museum?
You want like beer bellies or?
I think I've gotten rid of. I have to go look. I think I've gotten rid of a lot.
I
finally went through the bag clean out like.
Because those are the ones like when we have friends that are over, or he just comes over like in a summertime throw. I just open up this giant bin of like all the OG stuff. I'm like, let's mess around with this stuff, man. It was fun. Yeah, I mean, like the whole bunch of different materials. Like, did you ever throw the blackjack cornhole, the spade? Did you know that blackjack corn? So blackjack cornhole, white label.
I know that. I didn't know they made bags.
They made 2 series of bags ever through Reynolds, but they were blackjack bags. One was a spade, and the other one was it the diamond?
Yeah, weren't they called like the high stakes or something like that?
Yeah, it was a high stakes spade and high stakes diamond or something. Yeah, so one was a slower bag. They used the reverse side of suede on the slow side, and I don't know if you've ever thrown a bag with reverse suede. It's kind of cool. It's a little bit faster than suede. But like it can cut and do all the fun stuff, and it was a great bag. Yeah. It was. I don't know. I know. Again,
sometimes I miss suede. I do.
We mess. That's what we do probably the most often when we mess around in the backyard. We just throw something. Yeah.
So my local league, when we play, sometimes we'll get in the cul-de-sac and just play for fun, and we do kind of a king of the hill. If you just pick a partner, whoever shows up, and you're on the boards. If you win, you stay. Just and every now and then, if a team stays up too long, we have one of the guys has some old slide rights they'll pull out. And then you have to start throwing the old slide rights until you lose.
Hell yeah! So, I love stuff like that. That's what keeps
it's so fun because it takes you to it makes it even harder. But now you've got it. They're fun to throw, especially if we play. Both teams play them. They're fun to throw. They suck, but they're fun to throw though.
Yeah, because everyone has the same struggle.
It levels the playing field somewhat. You know what I mean? It literally does. It's like who can throw these set of bags. But that's what we've always wanted to do, like a tournament, but like different. Like either everyone's throwing the same bags or. We've had this idea for like since we do best of the bags, wouldn't it be crazy if we created like a 64 bag bracket where when you walk in the door and you pay your entry fee, you pull a deck from the card and whatever is on that's the bag you're getting for that tournament, and good luck. You know what I mean? Like I think that would go over. It'd be super interesting to try to pull off. I think that might be maybe like the next thing we try.
Mean, I still think our first tournament we have to try is what you think the future of cornhole is.
Yes.
Which is first bag block.
Yes. I'm telling you.
In the hole doesn't count.
So that was the question I had. Cause I've heard you say that before because as I watch cornhole, it's tough to watch when they're just sliding bags in. Like you watch it was an open this year. Matt Guy and Gary Bearpaw played. They both shot over an 11 PPR.
But it was just a half-hour match.
Yeah, it's just bag, and to me, it's not. It's great. It's great cornhole, and if you're playing, but just to watch it is not fun because just watching guys slide bags in the hole. Like I want to see the crazy shots. I want to see the struggles. I want to see the dirty boards. And so that was my questions is what does cornhole need to do to make it a more watchable sport?
I don't know if it's something like how they set up with Round Limited right now, where you have X amount of tournaments that are like this format, but I would be interested to see how at the pro level they would be able to execute where just like curling. This is kind of where I stole it from. I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary. It's called Losers. There's an episode on there about curling and how the curling evolved. Once upon a time, are you familiar with curling at all?
Yes, I love to watch it when it comes to the Olympics. That's all I ever do is watch it.
Right, so you know the first stones that are thrown, like they have to be like blockers, right? Like they can't cross a certain line. Once upon a time, that was not the rule. It's like it was free flowing. So this guy started being like, well, I'm really good at just mashing the shit out of everything, and I'm also really good at putting the last one dead center. So what if I just get 3 other guys on my team that they just blow everything out of the water and we retain that last throw to the last round and we just put it in the middle for the win. So they were just murdering everyone. So to the point where people stopped playing and they had to change the rule and then implement, hey, those first two you can't touch those are in play.
Interesting.
So I think if you took something similar, and maybe not for every tournament, but similar to like a round limited, you would have where your first bag is not allowed to go in the hole by yourself. Now the second, when you play your opponent, his first bag is also not allowed to go in the hole. He can do like a block replace, but you can't, that first bag can't go in. If it does go in on your first throw, then it doesn't count and you wipe it away. And I just think it'd be something interesting, just a different way. I think it would be difficult with amateurs. You know what I mean? Because like oftentimes like you're hoping that it gets on the board, but at the high level where they know where their bag is going, I think it'd be very interesting to see. And especially now where they're allowed to use different bag series, right? Different bag weights and stuff like that. So like there's a whole bunch of stuff that they can do to make it a little bit more interesting. Does it make it gimmicky though at that point? Like, are we trying too hard to change it up just to make it interesting? I don't know. There's an argument, but I want to at least see it done just once, just to see if it works and get feedback from people.
The funny thing is you compare it to curling, and I didn't know that curling was different. Right now, now it's been around long enough.
It's really good.
So if they make a change like that, once it's initially people are going to be opposed to it, but once it's been around, people will adapt to it. I've always thought about somehow where you can't put all 4 of your bags in. So, but your opponent can. So you have to have one bag that's a blocker, and your opponent has to knock it in.
So the best score would be 10 then.
So your best score would be a 10, but if you put all 4 in, I guess you lose that bag to 9. But the strategy in my mind would be is you want your bag at the hole to force your opponent to push it in so you can get a 12.
Yeah.
If they knock your bag in, it counts, but you can't not. So one of your bags has to not go in with your throw, but similar to what you're saying, like you got to have, I just think every time I watch these tournaments, like I want to see great play, but and even for me playing, like I get bored if we're just sliding bags in the hole. I mean, I get to the point where I want to throw a blocker because I'm tired. Like I would rather sacrifice my PPR just to make the round fun.
I think it's one thing to say watching like Mac Ivers, Gary Bearpaw, like again, stylistically, it is kind of boring. But if you get a kid like Ryan Trader versus like a Jeremiah Ellis, like we saw last year, you get a Tony Smith and Mark Richards, they're still throwing an 11 or a high 10, but they're not just sliding bags in the hole. I mean, they're doing it while collecting bags. And so that can be entertaining. And I understand, like, because I do play competitively, not well, but like I can appreciate like how good these freaking guys are at doing it. So there is some entertainment value for that. But again, like I'm a huge cornhole like loser. Like I watch cornhole competitively. If we're trying to bring in like the average viewer and entertain them, I don't know if they would truly appreciate that. They might be like, I do that every weekend in the backyard.
Yeah, I mean, because you'll have those couple rounds where like it's like a 6-on-6 because like nobody can get that push and stuff. Everyone's like, I can do that.
Yeah, correct.
Those are the rounds that the ACL hate when they're on TV. But to me, those are the most fun rounds.
I think the only hope cornhole really has is to kind of embrace the youth side of it because they are kind of making it young and exciting, and they're the ones that are coming up with all these crazy shots and things that you've never thought a bag could do. They're pulling them off at like 12 years old and making you feel bad about yourself. So I think if you go and you preach the youth, the problem is, can we keep them interested in the game long enough? I've said it for a long time. Like if you start at 12 and you're really, really good and you already be the pro level, and then maybe you get your first girlfriend or you decide, hey, I really like baseball and you step away. How many of those guys are going to come back later to the game? I don't know.
Very true.
Well, I mean, I think if they can have a future playing cornhole, they stick around. But if not, like there's better things to do, right? And I mean, if you can turn cornhole into a living so they can come from school and go into a career of being a professional cornhole player, I think they stick around.
Correct.
If that's their best option. But
I think ACL is trying to get there with going down to 100.
Well, we're getting there too with the schools now. You've got Winthrop and those schools offering scholarships for these players to go play cornhole. That's a step in the right direction because now cornhole at least gets them a college education. That's a future for them. Even if they don't play after that, they at least get something positive out of it. So I think that is a way to drive maybe more high schools putting on cornhole leagues and having a cornhole as part of the sports for them because you can go to college and play that. But
yeah, I mean the college aspect is just slow growing. Unfortunately, it's going to take a lot.
It is. But I mean, you're seeing more. I mean, you've seen Winthrop. I think Adrian is also another college that's offering startup scholarships. I think you're starting to see more and more of them. And then, I mean, the ACL is doing a good job of putting like the college championships on ESPN, right? They're putting them out there so people see it. I mean, those kids want to be on TV, right? They want 100%. People to see them, and that's a great way to go. I mean, growing up, I always wanted to be on ESPN. I know it never would be. I always wanted to be, but now they have a chance. I mean, I wish cornhole was actually a sport when I was in school.
That's why when we go to events, we just make sure that we're behind the board so that we'll be seen on TV, because we're never going to actually be like on the court playing.
Exactly.
We can at least be in the background.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like crushing Miller Lite.
And shout out to so last year Anthony Ione actually shouted us out on ESPN, which was like just cool.
Oh yeah,
cool dude. I love that dude. He's
we're famous.
We are. Basically now.
Said our names on ESPN. And we sat behind there just looking like chewed bubble gum for like 2.5 hours. Right.
Quick question here from Robert. So do you guys have any players that you just enjoy watching play?
Is it watching play or we just love them as a person?
I mean, I guess it could be favorite. Like if he says favorite, in my mind, I was thinking, are there certain players that when you know they're playing, you want to go watch them? But maybe you guys also have several pros in your area that I think you see somewhat regularly. So that may be a little different.
So just favorite, like if we're talking about just like favorite humans, like who do I like really enjoy talking to? Chris Kingsbury.
Watch them play.
Okay, watch them play.
Yeah.
You can still answer both ways. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm trying to think. So if I really watch him play, if he's on his game, because you're getting a little bit of everything, like you're getting the moxie to be entertaining, and he's obviously clearly backed up. I think Jeremiah Ellis is very fun to watch when he's on his game. But he plays like a rapid style. It almost like throws people off. Like he's like your bag's hitting the board and it's just bam, and he's just so accurate. He's really fun to watch. I mean, back in the day, Jimmy McGuffin, like how do you not like a guy that's just not afraid to rip 4 airmails like open board? Like that was always
like he would throw like 20 straight.
Oh, it's just crazy. It's just great to watch. Tony Smith, I think, is still, you watch him throw a bag and you're like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's what we're all trying to make it kind of look like, is what Tony Smith does and the stuff he can do. I think he's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I do think I think my favorite throw to watch is Kyle Malone.
Yeah.
It's just so smooth, effortless. It baffles me because he's like 120 pounds soaking wet, yet he looks like he barely even throws the thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need shoulder surgery after like an all-day tournament.
Yeah.
Another like fun one that I mean, it's awkward to watch him play, and I think that's why I enjoy it. It's Ryan Trader. Like, he's so herky-jerky. It's just baffling how consistent that kid is. And it makes it very entertaining to watch. A lot of body movement. And then
I thought you were going with Dane Weber.
Dane Weber, too. I mean, hell, dude.
I mean, when you started going awkward, I'm like, oh, that would make sense.
Yeah. And then, obviously, like, I love our Panda Bear, Jeremy Schermerhorn. He's just one of the nicest guys in the ACL.
Another guy I like watching, too, because and he has a really he's not afraid to chirp a little bit. He's kind of more quiet about it, but he's very analytical about playing the game, is AJ Sims.
Yes.
AJ Sims is really fun to watch. Especially like if you're going against him, which I always tend to watch his matches and I'm always like kind of pulling for the other guy just to chirp him a little bit.
But him and the Odd Couple though were fun to watch. Like, him and Braden Wilson together, like you never think those two would match, but they might have the best chemistry of any doubles team.
Trzynski's very fun to watch. I see that in the chat.
I do agree. Actually, he's been kind of who I've been glorifying this year. To me, he might take that next step up this year. It would not surprise me to see him in the running for like player of the year.
Eric Davis is fun to watch, but like, I don't know. I can't get over the fact that he looks like a wet blanket. Like, I mean, like the kid. No, I wasn't going to go there. I wasn't going to. I knew you thought I was going to go there, but I'm not going to say that. That's for private conversations.
Oh, good Lord.
And group chats.
Yes.
Only. He just has like, I don't know. It's just lack of personality sometimes. I mean, he's crazy talented on the board, but just kind of lacks. So I don't know.
Yeah. Eric Davis, to me, I love watching him, but he's also frustrating to watch because sometimes
Dane, you're gonna get think about it. I thought about saying it, but I was more sure. This is why. Yeah, you can tell we've been into this.
So sometimes Eric will go for shots that it's like he shouldn't, but he hits them sometimes, which makes them fun.
For sure.
Yeah. But for me, I love the players that chirp. I love the Jeremiah Ellis. I love the Jordan Power. I love the Jacob. I love the guys who get into it, and that's what I think cornhole needs, is those personalities.
Yes.
Like Tony Smith and Mark Rich are two great players, but they're I want to see them talk more. Like they just stay too quiet.
It's hard because like, do we need that in other athletes? Like the other athletes, like if they're really good at their sport, like do they have to be super personal? Like, baseball's a great.
You think about Michael Jordan was the biggest trash talker out there, right? I mean,
but then you look at like NFL, when you have a guy that's like quiet and reserved and still a dog, though he gets revered for it because everyone's like, oh, he doesn't need the spotlight. I mean, like Nick Chubb for the Browns.
I'll give a guy like Mark Richards at least trying. Like you can tell he's not like the most outgoing, boisterous guy, like center of attention, but he's trying to do like stuff on social media and posting videos. So I'll give him credit, but like you know, but if you're as good as Tony Smith, sometimes you don't have to talk that much.
I would love to see Tony Smith have a Jordan Powers attitude with Tony Smith's game. I think he could get in so many players' heads with his chirping and although I don't know, sometimes I think he gets in his own head too. Sometimes I think his biggest weakness is the mental side of it. It seems like one bad shot and he falls apart sometimes. But
I mean, we forget that he's still pretty young though.
Yeah.
I mean, he can shape into that, you know, as that could be the added element that keeps him at the top.
Dane brought him up before, not so much solo, but just as a tandem. They're not necessarily like shit talking as in like they're trying to get in their opponent's head. They get in their opponent's head just because they talk back and forth to each other. Mm-hmm. It's Shermer Horn and Jeremy Neistat or Joe K.
Yeah, Joe K.
Yeah. Joe K. I mean, those two together, you get them a few drinks and they are like their attitude to the game and like they're like just self-deprecating just almost affects the other team more so.
For sure.
Yeah. And it's crazy to watch, but they play their own mind games, but they're not even talking to the other team, just talking back and forth to them, having their own world. And it just throws the other team off. And I mean, they literally rid like average stats to like the finals of back-to-back brackets and made ESPN the one time. You know? I mean, it's crazy, but it's a different
almost like a Cody Henderson, right? Because he chirps more to his partner, but he's chirping in a way that the opponent hears him. He's not directing to them, but he's saying things that he's planting seeds to them. And like I love the mind game. I think cornhole is a little different because it is that individual sport, and I would love to see players mic'd up more so you can hear that conversation, even if it's like inside the NFL where they mic the players up and they go after the fact and
you edit it.
You hear audio. Mm-hmm. Maybe not live. You want to, but you can go and edit to that and then put some behind the scenes. I think that would be fun.
If only the ACL marketing was listening.
Conversations.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's like that would get us inside to start really getting to know these pro players and make us care about them, which makes us care more about watching them, I think, play.
Yeah.
And I think the ACL needs to. I mean, I know the ACL is still young. Even the ACL, the ACL has been around a while, but I think if you make us care about the players, we're going to watch then.
Agreed.
Would it be weird? Like, cause I'm thinking about that whole like mic'd up thing that you see on like NFL Sundays and stuff. Would it be weird if they like the ACL decided to just do like all the young guns? I think they would be the most entertaining if you could have them mic'd up, like even off the board. Yeah. Like hear their little like funny like snippets and stuff. Like it'd be different.
I would love to follow them around, like mic them up and follow around for an entire weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And then see what it's like to be a young pro. I mean, it's a totally different aspect.
Even when they're playing cash games on the side, like I want to hear that too. That's probably when they're actually chirping or they're playing those cash games.
Exactly.
I think the ACL's been smart recently about picking who they're going to market though. Mm-hmm. Like picking Braden Wilson was smart. You know what I mean? I still cannot get over after we interviewed him, like we hung up. I'm like, there's no way that kid's 12.
Dude, I know.
There's no way that kid's only 12. Like,
it's like I thought he was in college or like out of college.
Like you're a few years older than my daughter. Yeah. Like there's no way. Like that just blew my mind. For not the fact that he's like a stud player, but the fact that he was so well spoken, like just threw me off. So like if you can keep finding diamonds in the rough like that, if you're the ACL and you can really market like them heavy, I think that's kind of like the winning piece. Like that's the one thing they've kind of been missing for a long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like they've been trying, like that you really want Cheyenne Bubenheim to be like the face of the women. Like they've been trying. It just hasn't really like taken off as much as they want. So
yeah, no, I mean, I like Cheyenne's a great player. I don't know if the personality is quite there.
Correct.
To be the face of the league.
She's similar to Tony Smith. When you're that good and you've been dominating, like thank you for the check. Like I'm here as you know as a business.
My money.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I mean, eventually I think we'll get there, but I do think we need personalities in the sport, more of them. I feel like sometimes we tend to push those players away. Like people tend to think they're being disrespectful, but I think the game needs that. I love watching that. I mean, to me, playing against someone who's chirping, I feed off that. Like I don't care if I miss every shot. I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna talk trash to you, and then the one time I do, you're never gonna hit into it. You're gonna hear that for weeks and months if I make that shot. So I love that. I mean, it look like that, but you talk to guys play with me. I love to talk trash. I will talk trash all night long.
I love it.
Even if I'm off my game, I'm still talking it.
It doesn't bother me at all.
Exactly, because guess what? That beer is still going to taste just as good when you step off the court anyway. Exactly, so it doesn't matter.
Well, sometimes I struggle when we go to like bigger events now and we play because that is part of my game too. Like I like to chirp a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I like to, but then I'm this podcast guy that like is supposed to be nice to everyone. And like during a game, like I'm not gonna be. I'm sorry, I'm not there to be friends. Like I'm just not. After the game, I'll shake your hand and whatever. We'll be fine. But
give him 10 minutes. After,
yeah. Especially if we got our asses kicked, just give me like
let
5
him
minutes.
walk away.
We'll walk away and I'll come back. We'll be good. So Mike's a big.
Don't fist bump me when you score 5 points or 7 points on me. I don't want to fist bump.
No,
I want to fist bump at the
not.
start of the game. I want to fist bump in the game. In between, I don't want to fist bump.
Please, can we start a
fist
petition?
bump down like in singles or doubles, like after every round and stuff? There's no need for it. There's no need.
I don't know where your hands been. I
Bill
don't
plays with me. Bill knows.
There we go. Yeah, I believe it. I believe we one of these days we're actually going to be in the same location and we'll get to finally play.
One of these days.
One of these days.
Yeah, we will. We will.
I have to play first.
Real quick, I'm going to do another giveaway because we've been on here for a bit. So
I'm
going to do a giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway for the sling here.
Uh-oh.
Pull it up.
Those look pretty sweet.
I love the sling. It holds 3 sets of bags, or they actually have a cooler pouch. You can see on that far right over there. You can put a cooler in with your beer and ice pack
or
and
one set of bags and like an 8-pack, maybe like little.
Yeah,
it's true. You only need one
because if they're going to keep charging 12 beers at these venues, like I mean, something's got to give here.
Yeah,
like come on.
We can't say that, Bill. Don't talk about that.
We certainly can.
So for the giveaway here, what I want, and this is the one you need to go to inthebagcornhole.com. I want to know how many 5-star reviews the bag pouches have. So go there, check it out, throw the number in the chat. First one to do it gets them a cornhole sling. So
hurry.
Yeah, hurry. We'll see. I probably should check what the number is myself as well. Make sure it hasn't updated since I last looked. Right, it might have changed.
It's been 30 more since you've been sitting.
Yeah, correct. Everyone's just dropping reviews.
I hope not. Right.
Hey, the Cavs won. Dominated.
Cavs dominated. They're back. Looking good.
Oh, we're still good. Okay, we're still good. Hasn't changed. No, you guys are close with the 173, but there it is, right there. Whoops. Derek, 165.
165.
There it is.
So it's 173 total star reviews, but 165 5-star reviews. So
Derek looks like a sling guy. It's gonna be a good fit, I can tell.
Yeah, for sure.
You look like a sling guy.
Yeah, it'll rock with the outfit.
Yeah,
perfect.
So Derek, shoot me an email, MikesCornholeBags@gmail.com, your name and address, and I will get that to In The Bag Cornhole for you, and we'll get that sling out to you.
Hell yeah.
So 2 more giveaways tonight as well. We got a backpack and board covers as well. So stick around here. We've got a couple more trivia questions. It'll be more of a random guess, I think, for both of those than anything else.
Ooh.
So
we like random.
So talking about ways to change the game. I guess my next question for you guys is: where do you see cornhole in say 5 years?
No, man, I don't know if you want to hear.
Where do you see cornhole, and where do you think cornhole should be, or where do you want it to be?
I hope it's at a place where we have a legit professional league where the guys that are pro players are able to make enough money where they can do this full time. And at that point, it comes with other obligations. It doesn't mean that you're going to be making, $1 million a year and you get to just go to 8 tournaments a year. No, that means that you are now employees of the ACL. And people just need to be careful what they wish for, because I think this is what's coming. I think the ACL would like to set up and be like, hey, we want to take some of the pressure off the bag companies, who it's going to be one big happy family, right? Mm-hmm. Why do you think we've been taking money, right? Like we want to start paying the players. But that comes with other added responsibilities. That means you got to market the league. You want us to stay around? It is on your shoulders. We've been saying this for 5 years now. Like it or not, the early pros right now, because like you said, still in infant stages in the grand scheme of things, they're the early pioneers. They're the ones, like we all played Oregon Trail, right? You're one of them, buddy. Yeah, I mean, you guys are laying the groundwork for what could work or could ultimately fail in a few years. I think that we're kind of at a pivotal point here. You're dropping down to 100 pros. They're taking a big chance. Are enough people going to stay and want to try to chase getting into that top 100? Or are they satisfied with like, hey, we think we have the best 100. We're going to just open up a few spots every year. We're going to keep the competition high, and we're going to end up paying. I don't know if it's going to be right away, but I think that's the ultimate market they would like to, because I think they wanted teams to work, but there just hasn't been enough interest in like purchasing a franchise, at least that we know of, that they're making like public knowledge or that I've heard behind the scenes.
I think that's kind of the reason why you don't see teams like pumped up as much.
Well, and it's correct. Like it was very obvious that first year they were piping up teams, and that's all you saw. ACL, we're starting this new thing, teams, and then the next year they made all these changes, which the players liked, and then this year they changed it completely format wise. So let's hopefully they'll push it a little bit, and they have to make it a more marketable product. Like the matches were over, like almost every one of them was over after like 4 matches last year.
Mm-hmm.
If they're better matches, and I think style and format wise, them changing and them trying to hype up the draft is a good thing. My opinion is the draft is way too early. It's way too early.
Yeah.
Like the fucking season doesn't start till April. Why are you having a draft and then we're
should be
forgetting
doing it,
about
like,
teams for
now.
5 months? Like, what is the rush? Like, what's the rush? It doesn't have to be at the first open of the season. It doesn't. How about we plan this out? It doesn't look like we're rushed. Yeah, I mean, you guys have time to put a legit set together and make sure, give everyone else enough time to like, hey, we're having an event this day. If you're a pro, you're going to be there because we're doing a draft and we want this to be legit.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, it's always like, hey, in 3 weeks, we're having our first open because the schedule just dropped, and everyone, we're going to be doing a draft, and there's no time to prep.
Yeah, good luck being here. Oh, and you're a team captain. You have to show.
But I think that's probably the direction it's going. I hope that's the direction it's going. I think that it's still very popular and it's growing locally. I just don't know, like, professional side of the game, how much more it's going to grow.
I think 5 years is too soon, but to me, I think the model that I've seen the most success in, sustained success, is the TCL. And I think if that becomes the format for state-based leagues where you have one ACL and then you have state-based leagues where they like you can send your best of the best to go to the qualifier. But to me, like, that's the only way cornhole ever becomes something huge, because it's just too expensive to travel. And there's not enough there's not enough money in cornhole to justify all of the traveling. Yes, people like going places for tournaments and stuff, but let's be honest, they're not anywhere like crazy fun.
Well,
there's
and
a handful of them that are fun.
They've tried
like,
turning it into a spectator sport, right? Like they tried selling tickets for the.
So this is all about like accessibility
sport.
and being localish to you to get the masses out there. Like if Ohio would just host a couple tournaments every month, but it would be separate from like Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, you'd have good numbers at each one of those, because some people would make the extra trip to go play back-to-back weekends and stuff. But until it becomes state-based, I don't see it really moving forward with the head of steam. I kind of see us just at the peak right now. We're just plateaued and staying there. I don't think 100 pros makes any difference next year.
I mean, I think you're right. I think the state. I think it has to grow from the bottom up. But I feel like the amateur side has to grow different than the pro side, because they're kind of two separate things. And right now, I think we're too dependent on the amateurs to be able to play, to be able to pay the prize monies. If we can, if they can get enough sponsorship to cover the pro side, because like I play golf, right? If you play golf, I'm not playing in PGA sponsored tournaments or events, right? I'm playing golf, but I watch PGA, but I play other tournaments. It's like there's a separate pro from amateur. I know that's maybe further down the road, but I also think, going to your point of teams, if they're going to do teams, they got to do a better job of making it available. Like last year when they had teams, I never knew when the teams event was, when to watch it. I couldn't find the standings were never updated on the website. It was so I wanted to follow it, and I was so frustrated I couldn't follow it. and
our New Year's resolution was that we were going to make a push to try to follow teams more this year. And I'm already frustrated because they had the draft, which I thought was great. There was a bunch of trades and it was kind of entertaining. And I'm like, this is exactly what we're here for.
Yeah.
But then radio silence for like 5 months and you lose all the hype that you had at one time.
Yeah. Possible to find
and I don't remember who's on any team anymore and what the trades were once upon a time. And then the season starts and then we're supposed to like just talk about, what about these trades? Like, well, that happened 5 months ago, man. Like, my life has changed 5 months. So
what do you think about all the signature events at the end of the season as opposed to sprinkled out throughout the season?
I think it's okay. I mean, really, it comes down. I'm not the one making all these trips. You know what I mean? I think they're trying to make the pro field happy. They realize that, giving them a little bit of flexibility it should help a little bit. I think now they have to make 4 out of the 6 or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't know about your job, but they're not too happy if I try to take off 3 weekends and out of
don't get
6.
how people do it.
So I would almost prefer it to be spread out so they could not be gone for consistently. But again, I'm not sure. I think they might have just tried to give themselves some time to book venues and stuff this year rather than the scramble that happened last year.
Yeah. I feel like because I mean the teams events are happening at the signature events, right? They're not doing them, so that's why we haven't seen them yet. I just feel like if they had sprinkled kind of like golf does with the majors, right? The 4 majors are kind of throughout, even though the golf season is shorter now. And I think I've even heard you guys talk about, maybe even Trey Ryder, about making these nationals all be unique. Like one has slow boards, one has fast boards. They're all different.
We try to
when you go to those,
like
it's not the same thing.
Like think about golf, and they have the majors, right? You know that the Masters is played at Augusta, right? So players know and they prepare for that type of grass and those conditions. They know that if it's the Open Championship, if it's St. Andrews, they know, all right, I'm going to bring these set of clubs because I want to keep the ball down under the wind. Like it's going to different conditions. If the players knew going in every year, all right, we're going to the second national, whether you want to keep the names like Bagmania or whatever the fuck they call it.
Yeah.
And they know, like, all right, these are going to be slow boards and it's going to be outside in humid weather. I know the boards are going to be sticky as hell. So if I like that, great, I'll just bring my slow bags. But maybe I want to bring something that moves up the boards a little faster.
Yeah.
And there's going to be the second national of the year is always going to be in Florida. It's always going to be outdoors.
Then you have time to prep, get your bags ready and stuff at the beginning of the season, full well knowing what you're getting yourself into for those tournaments.
I mean, they had tournaments outside once upon a time in COVID when we were crazy and wearing masks outside. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's just bizarre. Like watching.
I mean, they had a open in Atlanta a few years ago where it was raining. I remember it was raining. They're playing it, and even though they had the tents over, the bags were so good. But that was fun to watch, though.
It was. It adds a little adversity. It makes it seem like, excuse the language, like not giant pussies. You know what I mean? Like, You know what I mean? Like that's the one thing we always get from the horseshoe crowds. Like, oh, the real men throw horseshoes. No, you losers. Like this, you guys haven't figured it out in like 100 years. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to advance here a little bit. So just sit down. So.
And to me, it's okay to see the pros struggle in tough conditions. It makes them more relatable. When I see them, throwing a bag off the board because the boards are too fast, and then trying to watch them adjust and what they do to adjust, I think is. Although I will say, was it last year in the teams where the boards were super fast?
Yes.
And it was frustrating to me because no one seemed to want to switch bags. They didn't want to make the adjustment. They kept trying to throw the same bags. They kept throwing them off the back of the board. And
I know.
I was like, man, if they would just change to it, I think eventually they started doing that, but. Like it makes it more real when I see them going through the same things that I go through and trying to watch how they adapt to those conditions. So I would love to see them
not
play.
To compare it to golf again, but like, why do we love the U.S. Open? The U.S. Open, I love watching because I want to see the guys grind.
Yeah,
watching
triple bogeys.
Oh yeah, I love seeing it. Like hitting the rough, and then you guys hit it 20 feet in front of you. God, it makes me feel so good about myself.
Yeah.
But then we have
do that
where somebody might shoot 20 under par.
Yeah,
I mean, or you have what was it where they
waste management?
No, last year's I can't remember which the PGA where they shot like 25 under over the weekend. That's also kind of fun, just seeing the best in the world being really good. So you can have a tournament indoor, perfect conditions. Boards are like how everyone likes. So the next one is super slow boards and fast. I just think it would, if as long as you stay consistent year after year at that tournament is going to be this. I think it would add something to the game at least.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think the board conditions might be difficult to do. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I think part of it is just knowing where it's at and knowing how boards play differently in different regions. That's all you really need.
Yeah, you can sponsor one tournament by Windex, the next one by Pledge. You know what I mean? Like, just you know what I mean?
Never pledge, Sean. Never pledge your boards. All right. Good Lord, they go ludicrous.
You do it. You're gonna pay for that for a long time.
I know, my poor dad.
You'll never stop them.
God, dude, that's all. Like, just take fine grit sandpaper and start fresh.
Yeah,
you gotta refinish.
But I mean, if you do a tournament like in Florida or Georgia where it's humid, it's humidity. You got to deal with those conditions, right?
Yep.
And then you do one up, in Michigan or somewhere later on. I think I like the idea of at least a few of those nationals or signature events being in the same place every year, so you know where you're going. You know where you're going to be. Kind of like the Masters is always at Augusta. You know that. Now the other ones will move around, but they also move through certain areas.
Yeah.
Like
if you do one in Arizona, then you can do one in like Texas or like some dry,
Arizona, or hit Southern California or somewhere up the next year. Keep it in that same area. Yeah.
Just nobody wants to go to California. Cornhole players can't.
Not right now.
That's true too. I mean, it's.
Oh, you can go to. Everybody goes. They'll go to Vegas. He'll put it in Vegas again.
Oh yeah. Well, one would definitely be Vegas for sure. Like
just the one place we still have not gone to for a cornhole tournament.
I know,
which shocks me.
I know, yeah,
because I love Vegas.
I think we've been like kind of fearful of what going out.
That's true, because every time, like when you and I were last in Vegas, we had our wives there as buffers.
Yes,
correct. So it definitely helped.
Yes,
even though we were free running at like 9 p.m. when they'd go to bed.
Yeah.
So I mean, we survived.
You always show up eventually.
So
here's where we end up.
Here's a comment here, and I think that the second sentence says the game is almost too easy for the best players. Do you guys feel like cornhole is getting to be too easy for these pros?
I mean, I was going to say there's a reason why it's not a spectator sport, but I don't even think like putting it outdoors or anything makes it more of a spectator sport to the average human.
Not necessarily,
because it's still not entertaining or any more entertaining unless you get like serious weather, like major wind and stuff. Like then it could have a little added to it. But
I mean, Spencer's McKenzie's has weather affected every year, wind and humidity.
Yeah, I mean, it's entertaining
to watch.
Yeah, it's entertaining to watch. But aren't there finals indoors now for Spencer's?
They're kind of covered. Yeah, they're out of the wind.
Yeah, it is. But again, like I don't think it makes it a better product at all. And yeah, it does kind of make it easier, or like it's easier indoors than outdoors. But when all the good players are playing in the same elements, I feel like they all like you still see the same people finishing.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. I mean, look at who's won Spencer's. I mean, it's the same guys you're seeing like they play at indoor.
Exactly. So it's not it's not any different.
They're still really good indoors or outdoors. So if everyone's playing on the level now, if they had to play outdoor in the wind all day and the amateurs played indoor, then yeah, there's good probably.
Yeah, I mean, what's more impressive, seeing somebody throw an 11-2 indoor or someone throwing a 9-8 outdoor? Or something like which one?
9-8 outdoors.
Yeah, correct.
But I love the outdoors. I love the extra element of dealing with the wind and trying to make the adjustments there. But
I think Earl posted instead of board speeds. I think it's interesting. I think that they'll at least entertain the idea of maybe moving the boards back. If anything, I think that would probably be the easiest change to make. I don't know if they'll ever get there. I don't know if they move it back to 30 feet. You know what I mean? In between, do the guys just figure it out then?
I mean, but then do you split up like the juniors stay at 27, then like adults are moving to like 30, 33 or something?
Yeah,
the seniors go back to like 20.
Yeah, why not? The seniors just start mini bags.
That's right. But I mean, I think, and part of what Earl's saying is if we do, if we're taking that whole thing of the golf majors, or making each signature event different, do we have different distance boards for different signature events? So you're not getting comfortable. You're changing up from event to event.
I mean, it's just as like a theoretical thing to talk about. It'd be certainly fun for us to discuss. I think you would never have any pro player that would agree to that. You know what I mean? Like they want neutral conditions. You know what I mean? Like they want, if the air vent is too close to the board, someone's going to complain. I mean, people complain about bag bracket. Can you only imagine if they made like a massive change like that? I mean, it'd be crazy.
Yeah. So the next question I see here from Eric is I think we kind of touched on it. What would make this more of a fan sport? Because I think for me is I talk to people all the time who play cornhole like multiple times a week, but never ever watch it ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do we get those people? Because I think that's the people the ACL. If the ACL can bring those people, and I think it can grow the fan base enough to be a more legitimate sport. If we can get the ones who are playing to watch it, because there's hundreds of thousands of people probably play it across the country.
Why
have 1,000 people tune into YouTube?
So if you weren't a diehard fan of like a certain sports team, why might you turn into a sporting event?
What was that again?
So like if you're not watching your favorite team, but why might you turn in to watch another team that like you normally wouldn't watch?
Well, for me, I think of fantasy sports, right? I watch football games that I could care less about because I have fantasy players or sports betting, right?
Because you care about the individual
invested interest somewhere in there.
Correct. I think if the ACL does a better job of marketing individual players and we get to know them and it feels really, because again, cornhole, the one endearing thing is you can still go to a local tournament on Saturday and a pro player might walk up and you can go talk to them. They're just a normal person. There's not like this.
And you might meet them every now and then, right?
Correct. And that's what kind of makes it cool about cornhole, and is the fact that is so relatable with the pro players. So I don't know. I feel like,
I mean, like we're talking about drawing crowds though too. Mike, if you're not you don't know anything about cornhole, but you're walking down the street and you see ACL World Championships up on this big banner, like open to the public, are you just gonna go walk in there?
No,
exactly, because it's a tournament. They don't make events. They don't make these into something that's gonna draw people in, the average street walker to come in. Or have any other entertainment to like bring people in.
They did. I don't know if you noticed the Super Bowl. They kind of did that. They had a thing set up there, and they did stream a couple pro players. I think it was Ethan Walker and Adam Hissner, and then I can't remember who. I can't remember. There's a couple of these, but they were doing like people could come up and they would give lessons, they would play with them. Like I think that's a step in the right direction. I wonder how many people interacted with them at the Super Bowl that
100%.
would never have done it before.
Yeah, you post up something outside of an ACL like open or something that just says, "Come meet a pro," and throw up a time, and like have pros out there, and like people will come in to go meet pro cornhole players, even like just for the chance of meeting a professional athlete.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It all comes down to like getting the faces of the best players out there to the public so that people recognize them.
Yeah.
Because then like if they interacted and they had a positive interaction, they might be more inclined to be like, oh, you know what? Like I've heard of this guy from the cornhole league. Oh, is he playing today? Yeah. Like let's check it out. You know, let's see if it's on ESPN sometime. And just overall, just like I don't know. That's where I really struggle because I want the game to get big. But like I love cornhole, and that's the only reason I'm somewhat entertained when I'm there is because I like it. But people that like just the casual viewer, I just don't think it's like a riveting enough game for people to like stick around and watch or pay money to go attend an event. They have a hard enough time getting enough people to fill out the stands when it's an open, and they're just like telling people, "Come on over."
Yeah, exactly. It's hey, we're gonna pause here. Everyone, you have to go over there.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like they pause tournaments just to get people like, "Hey, don't leave to go get food. Come over here and watch the pros play." And it's still then it's like pulling teeth sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think that's the tough one. And then
when I watch the TCL events, they have a ton of spectators there. So what are they doing different the ACL isn't doing?
So,
because it's an event.
Yeah. So and they also they're smart about they save the finals all in like one night. They do one massive thing at the end. So chances are, if you know somebody in intermediate that's from your club, you're more inclined to kind of stick around. And they just they also do one board at a time. There's 3 matches going on at a time on the final court. So you hooting and hollering might be for board 1, but you might be watching board 3 kind of thing. So it's almost like multiplying it by 3. So it's a good cheat code.
There's a couple things I want to go back to here that are kind of backing up a little bit, but In The Bag Cornhole posted, what about pitch pads and multiple throwing lines that change each round? So you got it I'm even thinking, what if every bag there's 4 lines, and bag 1 you start the front line, bag 2 and you move back a line for each time you throw or something.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, yeah, it would be interesting. Oh yeah, can you imagine the football police on that one though? Yeah. Oh my god! We finally just got rid of them. Yeah, I mean, it's like my goodness.
What would Ryan Schrader do? God, we finally had to cage the long step, and now
I know,
be
seriously.
Like, oh my god,
that's true.
I mean, it would be confusing, especially if you're trying to figure out which line you're supposed to throw from.
But for sure.
Actually, I solved that problem as we were just sitting here. Pitch pads with LED lights. Boom.
And they just light up, and you're wherever that light is,
and you don't know which one it is.
Maybe your opponent can choose the line you can throw from.
Ooh,
so you have to throw one bag from each line. Your opponent chooses that line for that bag to see, for which shot you're throwing.
See, I like that too. Man, we're just coming up with things.
I like when your opponent chooses your bags you play.
So then I can continue. Sorry.
Okay.
I was just talking out loud. My thoughts just kind of pop up sometimes. So
yes, they do.
But we're live, so we're good.
So, and kind of the essence of this is what bag companies do you think are stepping out and creating different things? Like we see NOLA bag, right? NOLA bags is the one I think of the most when it comes to unique materials.
Yeah.
But I mean, let me take it. Do you think there are improvements that we can make in the cornhole bag itself that we haven't gotten to yet?
No, I think really. Not in the science of the cornhole bag. But I think, shameless plug here, but what Dragon Bags did with the Charlie name rights and stuff, like that's the kind of avenue that I think we could really see take off in the bag world. But as far as the science goes, there's still always new fabrics coming out, and people are going to find stuff that works. But as far as what we're seeing in these, I think the science of it's pretty much standard.
Yeah. And unfortunately, if you want a bag to really pop off and get crazy popular, you need to sponsor the right pro, and they need to go on and do really well, win a national on TV. That's one route. Or you just have to pay a lot of money to a really popular player who's going to do well enough. And that just because he's throwing bags, that means you're going to sell bags because of that.
Yeah, that's the get success quick scheme.
Yeah.
Or, you just grind for 5 to 10 years making bags for local buddies and stuff, and then once it blows up, then you take it that way. I mean,
have we seen any of those,
I mean, yeah, there's plenty of guys that have just dominated their area.
Oh yeah,
selling bags locally. And yeah, I think like
I just don't know if that model is sustainable.
It might not be. It might not be. But I'm saying if you
my answer was completely different. I would have said somebody like I think BG is actually doing it right in terms of, and I know they're a massive company, but they are going around and gobbling up every local league sponsorship they can. You know what I mean? They're willing to sponsor the leagues and then get their bags in people's hands. So it's in terms of like a company just mass producing bags and getting
them
out in people's
they have
hands.
the overhead to be able to do that
Correct.
kind of stuff though.
No free plugs here, but like Dragon Bags, they dominate like the Arizona. So I think if you're a bag company and you're going to do really well, like you have to kind of dominate your region and become like have like a honey hole of like for sure sales and kind of dominate.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
So then that brings up the question here: Can these smaller bag companies, are they going to be able to survive, or do they need to go the BG route and get bigger and sponsor these players? You know, can these little companies who have one or two pros,
now the question
how
is,
long are they going to stick around?
Are all these companies like hoping that they're like they gain crazy success, or are they just content with being, the mom and pop just making 30 sets of bags every like 2 months?
Yeah, I mean, survive and being successful are two different things.
Exactly. So. Yeah.
We compare like the golf a lot, right? In golf, you've got a handful of major companies, your Callaways, your Titleist, your TaylorMade. You have some smaller ones, but you don't really hear about those. So I mean, is cornhole going to get to, or is the ACL going to get to a point where there's 4 or 5 major bag companies that everybody throws, and there's a few little niche ones for your local markets? Is that the direction we're headed?
I thought at one time, yes, but just with how like their revenue market is set up right now, I don't think that they could afford to do that.
No,
like I think that they welcome, if you want a stamp and you're willing to pay for it, by all means, we'll take the money year after year. So it almost seems like silly for them to cut it out unless they had like a bag company like try to come in and like buy the league.
Well, we always thought that it was going to be bag company by teams,
and we thought for a while.
That's kind of we thought that was going to be the route that they were looking, but yeah, that didn't pan out. But if any bag company would buy the league, who would it be?
Oh, well, I mean, BG seems like obviously they're aligning, I mean, especially with their, alleged partnership with All Cornhole.
Do we have any issue with BG making pickleball paddles?
No, I mean, I don't know.
Are they?
Yeah, they're literally about to launch their first ever pickleball paddles.
I mean, they're a sports brand.
724 at one time. Wasn't Jared making pickle? I don't know if he still is.
He was for a little bit. Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Who?
I don't think there's a problem with that, right? I mean,
the way they look at it, more.
I'm just trying to stir the pot, guys.
So it kind of going along.
It can't just be like a BG like suck fest here.
Well, okay, so let's change. Change topic just for a second. So I wanted to confirm it before, like I said it outside. So I don't know if you've noticed, there's a certain other, like we'll call it a yard game or a bar game that has been talking some shit on social media. I think you've come across the thing. I saw you share some of the posts.
I know who you're talking about exactly.
So it was there. So Popdarts, they've been kind of trash talking cornhole as a kind of a smart marketing scheme, right? Like getting people that are interested in these kind of games to, just kind of get their attention.
Yeah,
it works, right? So I reached out to them, told them I liked it. So they're going to be our guests coming up in a few weeks. So I'm excited to have them on. They're pair of brothers that developed the product, and I don't know if you followed them on Instagram, but they used to post up like matches of like a Popdarts.
I've seen that. Yeah, that's where I first saw
it. Yeah, and that was before they really started mass producing this, but it was really entertaining stuff. So they're going to be a guest on the episode in a few weeks.
So do they have like pro? I mean, I know the ones they're posting Instagram, those are good players. Do they have like pro players?
I literally think this started with 2 brothers. They developed the product, and it was just them and like their 5 or 6 buddies, and they did a league, and that was like the players that you see, and they just played all the time, so they just got good at it.
I posted the things I laughed at. I thought it was great marketing, cornhole stuff, whatever. I loved it. I posted. It got me thinking. Like I would love to create a quote unquote rivalry where we had like it's a Popdarts tournament and then a cornhole tournament, and see which are cornhole players better at Popdarts or Popdarts players better at cornhole, and see who wins that. Right?
So funny you bring that up. That's why I kind of wanted to bring it up on the show while we have all these people watching. If we can just go flood. Like just talking shit on. If you see one of those Popdarts like promotion posts, just comment something about like you love corn. Yeah,
shit.
Let's just get out. Let's just show them like the power of the community a little bit, and let's have a little fun with them before we get them on the episode, because we're definitely going to challenge them somehow.
Yeah, I mean, so I do have a fun tale about Popdarts.
Oh please. Oh sorry, it's not my show. Sorry.
I know, but
go right ahead.
Yeah, sure, take it away. But I'm going to save it for the Popdarts interview as well, but I'll say it here too. So when I was in college freshman year, went to a frat party, and down in the basement they had 2 cornhole boards sitting down there, You're thinking they're playing cornhole? No, they had a bunch of suction cup dildos, and they were playing who could get the stick on the board. The first time I saw that Popdarts commercial, I thought that's what it was. Like they're the Popdarts thing.
Was that the original Popdarts thing right there you're watching?
The black one's like slightly bigger than all the other ones.
They were all different sizes. It was hilarious.
That's hilarious. Love it.
Okay, I'm not going there.
Family friendly. It's a family friendly show. Sorry,
don't worry.
I mean, there's got to be a way that you could create a cornhole board that has like a Popdarts board on it as well, where you could utilize it.
I think they already make them. There's something like that where people have been using cornhole boards for them, and they just like print out like, you know what I mean, like whatever the scoring system would be on there. I know they have all the rules, so we'll find out more. But until then, let's mess with them a little bit. Like they're still tiny. Like so let's just have a little fun with them while they're still little brother. You know what I mean? Like,
so we actually found a sport that we're bigger than, right? We're not little guys anymore.
Well, I don't know. So I don't know if you're aware. We have an intergalactic alliance with curling. All right, the curling community and cornhole communities have alliance on Twitter.
Yes.
All right, we had formed an alliance for all of us about 4 or 5 years ago. So we're friends with the curling community. We are not friends with the bowling community though. So I'm sorry if there's any bowlers in here. Like you got to decide. Like, cause there's firm line in the sand. We're not friends with the bowling community. All right, on Twitter, especially on Twitter.
And for the record, the bowling podcast they bitched out. They're not willing to have us on or come on our show.
I've been trying to get them on for 4 years.
Scared. Yeah, they're scared. Because guess what? I mean, talking trash and bowling is not. Yeah. They try, but it's not a real thing.
I can get behind that. I'm not a big fan of bowling, but I love watching curling.
Yeah. Correct.
Hell yeah.
Interesting.
I'm okay with board if they want to.
Oh,
I just have a hard time to hear pop. That's my problem.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts.
Correct.
S'mores, baby.
Yeah, it's actually, but when you search it, it's number 2.
Brown sugar cinnamon.
Yeah, correct. It would be
a classic. All right,
correct. An organic like type of like partnership right there.
It would.
Yeah,
that it would.
Buy a box of Pop-Tarts, get one Pop-Tart. You gotta buy like 12 to get like the full set. Yeah, like listen, man, like you might be.
They have limited edition ones. You can maybe get lucky. Like one out of every 10 boxes or 100 boxes has a limited edition one that's special.
One's like sign looks like a s'more. Like, oh,
stop it!
I know. I'm sorry. Sorry,
making me hungry.
I got ideas for them.
Add to my grocery list.
S'mores.
All right. Real quick, we're going to do another giveaway here for those of you who are still sticking around here, and we're going to give away. Let me pull this up here. We're going to do a set of board covers right here from In The Bag Cornhole, and the question I have for you guys is, how many total votes were made or placed in the Best of the Bag tournament last year, the 2024 version?
Are you going prices right?
I actually got it written down here, so I'm gonna put this up here so people don't think there's no shenanigans going on, right? I'm gonna tape this right over here to the microphone stand so you can see that. That's the number written down there. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably go closest without going over. Will be fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because I don't know if anybody's gonna guess this exactly. That's gonna be a tough one to guess. So we'll throw it up there.
Yes. There's a way to figure this out too.
I'm sure there is.
You got all kinds of ways.
I'm saying you can. We want to give stuff away, right? You go to Facebook.
We're going to give them away. Yeah.
Best of the Bags 2024 finals or championship. It'll come up with a post of BG with their logo over a wizard's face, and that post will tell you how many total or around ish. Like it was a round number that will get you pretty darn close. So
it's funny some of these numbers because if you remember, Sean earlier said that some of these guys were getting 600, 700, 800 votes in the first round. So.
First round, and that's just one half.
You got to think about that
matchup.
Oh, we got it. We're pretty darn close.
Yeah, we got close. That's if anybody.
I'm not gonna say who was close, but there's somebody that's very, very close.
We'll see. So going back to the Best of the Bag, for instance, we got that going on now. Is there a company? Is there a bag that you guys are looking at that you think? Let's. Have you guys sit down and look? Do you break down the bracket? Sorry, do you ever just looked at break down the bracket? Say these are the 4 teams, or these are the
I kind of do it like after I put all the teams in. I wanted to kind of sit back and just look. Who do I think is going to make kind of like a decent run? And it's weird because some of the big companies that I would have expected just to do well, just based off name, like a company like Fire, like they haven't really been around much for like the last 2 years. So like I don't know how a team like a bad company like that does. I don't know. It's also I I guess I don't really have a feel for how the ACO, like I know they're really pushing right now. Do they have the firepower to like really take on one of the big dogs? Like I don't know. I think in the first few rounds, I think they're going to do very well and, you know, like rally behind each other. But I mean, eventually they're going to have to face off with a big dog. And that's when I'm really interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when they have to face off against like a Pro Sniper Elite or the BG Wizard or, you know, like one of the big bags, like can they pull, or like a middle, like I don't want to call middle of the road, but like a Fly Magic, where last year they were really like, I thought they could have maybe won it. They take a step down a little bit, but they're still a popular bag company that's been around for a minute. When they run into a company like that, can the ACO show up and like overtake that? I think
weren't they victim to the weekend post?
Yes,
I think they were, and like
that is something to consider too. The Saturday and Sundays typically don't get quite as many votes as, you know, during the week. People aren't on Facebook quite as much, so it's always interesting to see how those go. So there are more upsets on the weekends that do occur. I think Titan Bags, as just one of those bigger companies that's not like one of our like number 1 or 2 seeds, I think they have a shot at really kind of taking down their little quadrant and going all the way. So like they could be like, you know, kind of a Final Four. I would kind of feel pretty strong about them.
To me, they have to back it though.
Yeah.
If they're not willing to back it, then I can see them getting taken out.
I think they will though.
They have the star power.
100%. I think they'll back it because they helped us with the commercial and stuff last year.
Yeah,
and
I'm hoping
we have a
they
good
do.
relationship with them. Yeah, so I think they'll back it. But
Really, I mean, I just see they're that quadrant that has a bunch of TCL in there.
Yeah.
So that just, it always scares me because you never know. If all of TCL gets behind one bag, then boom, there you go.
That's true.
That's what the ACO is, and so I'm curious to see if the ACO does. But the ACO has been pushing. CBC's been pushing that, you know, you vote for your favorite ACO bag, but if there's just one ACO bag against an ACL, everybody vote for the ACO. They've been pushing that hard to push, which I'm curious to see. Like I said, I was looking through the early rounds. There's a couple early round ones, but like to what you were saying, Sean, it's like the third round. I think we start seeing if the ACO bags make it, start facing some of the bigger known ACL companies and whether or not they can get past those second or third tier ACL companies before they even get to the Titan or the BG or
because if you're an ACO company, like let's say CBC, right, their first matchup, let's say they go out and they get 400, like let's say they get 450 votes, right, and they win pretty easily their first round, which I can think can happen. If that's 450 votes, but they were like bag borrowing and stealing every vote they could get, like really promoting it, like to me that's a red flag. Like if you really had to promote and you only get that many, like I don't know if you're gonna have enough firepower to when it comes down to it, unless you really rally the troops and everyone comes out of the woodworks and it's like, oh, they were already winning by a lot, so I don't need to add any more to it, which sometimes the big bag companies will see. Like Lucky Bags, they'll start off with like 300 or 400 votes, and all of a sudden, like round 3, they're like, okay, like now it's more serious. Like now we're gonna throw out like 2,000 votes for you. You know what I mean? Like so, there is some of that in the beginning. So it's tough to gauge. Sometimes it's not until the first 2 rounds that you have a feeling for like, okay, like this, they have something going here. They can kind of make a run. I can't wait. I'm a pull up. Though. Can we just American Cornhole Association Synergy Edge going against Ultra Viper?
Dude,
I mean, we have 2 massive leagues going against each other.
Could we see the ACA take it down?
I mean, in a world you could. They have a huge following on Facebook.
If they post it up and they're like, hey, go give a heart to ACA Synergy, like, dude, they could honestly upset Ultra Viper R in the first round.
I mean, it would be the first. I mean, no number 1 seed's ever been obviously knocked off in the first round.
Yeah, I mean,
we saw our first 16-1 a few years ago in the NCAA tournament. So
exactly,
it's possible.
It really could happen. It would be super interesting. I'm interested.
Well, and Ultra they have haters, right? They have people who don't like them.
Correct.
They've turned out in the past. So
I would argue that there's more so possibly now than there has been in the past, even though they've been quiet. I think there's some bridges that were burned last year, and Ultra made a conservative effort to go from sponsoring a large number of pros to a very small number.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of bridges that were burned there, and those pros that were always throwing Ultra, maybe they're not throwing there anymore and people have moved on. So we still give them the nod as the number 1 seed, right? Or a number 1 seed, and we think they deserve it, but they don't have that certainty like they have in years past where I'm like, oh, they're going to walk the way to like the Final Four. I don't know if that's true. I don't know necessarily who in this little bracket can really rise up against them. I don't see anyone. Maybe WTF, can they finally show up? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's or what kind of backing is the ACO going to do? Could we get you know,
I mean,
big
like,
backing behind them.
well, you figure one of their more popular bags is Killer Bees Armite, right?
Yeah, but no,
and like they don't even have a Facebook
page.
I mean, like, what are we doing here? Like, it's hard to kind of you just need all the stars to align. But if one's going to get upset, I would think it would probably be Ultra, just because again they do have a large number of haters out there.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give away these board covers because
there's a lot of guesses.
Super close. There's a lot of guesses. I'm gonna pull this out.
They're relatively close when we get to that big.
So I did it upside down, and there we go. 115, 187. Looks like Cole is the closest that I've seen. So
okay,
we're gonna go Cole. Cole, you won the board covers. Shoot me an email, MikesCornholeBags@gmail.com, and I will get your information to In The Bag Cornhole. And
I'm assuming my hint on Facebook worked, because then all of a sudden I started seeing all the 115,000.
Yep.
Yeah. So
115 just looked better. You know what I mean? Just a clean number already out there. You know what I mean? So my goal, I would like to see at least 120,000 votes this year. It's going to be a little tougher just because there are technically less matchups this year. But I'm hoping just with the added ACO promotion of it and everything, we kind of get this rolling and we get 120,000.
I'm hoping so.
I want to show something here. I'm going to pull up and share my case. You were talking about the ACO. And so this is the first round here. The first matchup I see right here is TNT, which is an ACO company, versus Razor Knuckles, right?
Yep.
TNT is the WoW. Right now, they have 323 votes.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
And that's not to me, I mean, I don't think they're one of the top companies in the ACO. I mean,
I think their story helps their cause, which in a contest like this certainly matters, because I believe the husband passed away last year, if I remember correctly.
No, isn't that T&T? Isn't that the AC?
Okay, you're right. Correct. Yeah. I forgot. Yes, I almost actually there. Yes, TNT. Correct. Yeah, I don't know anything about them, but they have a pretty decent following on Facebook, which is kind of surprising.
It's just it was interesting to me because it's the first round. I mean, Razor's not a big name ACL company, but people know them. They're plenty of people that throw them.
If you go to Razorbag's Facebook page, they have a ton of followers. Like they might be like top 5 in like number of followers on Facebook.
Well, and they've been around forever.
Yeah, they were one of the OGs. So
yeah, they just don't use it.
Yeah, they were sitting there right alongside Reynolds and All Cornhole, like right at the beginning. Yeah. So,
and I want to make a comment here too, because for those of you voting, real quick, you don't comment the vote. Go down here and hover over the like vote, and you do a heart or a wow.
Yeah,
that's how you vote. Right? I see people here that are commenting the wows. I'm hoping you're also reacting, because if you're just commenting, that doesn't count.
And I know people have also commented or /complained, why don't you just do a like and love? Because I feel like if we did a like, we're giving an unfair advantage to one bag company, whoever has.
You instantly just hit like right away. Right. You actually have to intentionally hover over it to make a selection.
Correct.
So.
And the heart and the wow are different enough that you can change, because I didn't want to do like a wow and an angry. You know what I mean? Like it just gets too close.
Mess it up.
Yeah.
Split it up a little bit. Just seemed the fairest way to do it. Been the same thing, same picture for 6 years.
And you don't want to have, the smiley face laughing at the bag company. That's just rude.
That would be an anti-vote, right?
Exactly.
I thought about, like, we mess with people every once in a while. I thought about, like, everyone that comments like with the picture of the mode is a minus vote. Yeah, I mean, just going through, but like it just would be a lot of counting on my part. Yeah, correct.
Not Sean, tell Mike not to spoil the fun. I don't know. I was looking at the first round, because I always wonder, like, the day one, there's a lot of hype here as well. I'm curious to see how this goes, but I noticed that matchup stood out to me because it was an ACO company, and you were saying 500 votes in the first round is something you're looking for. 323, and we're not even 12 hours into it.
Correct.
The question is, have they peaked, or do they keep building from this point forward until tomorrow?
Correct. I think the other bigger company, just in general, that I expect to do very well, just because they seem to be the most popular bag with like the young crowd, is Brotherhood. I think Brotherhood could come out. Now, are they big enough yet?
That's a big question mark.
I know they're widely popular. I think they're going to do very well in the contest, but are they big enough to handle like the biggest dogs? And I think it's just going to depend on how much promotion do they want to do. Now, Brent, we know, he likes contests like this. He's all in. Like, so I think he's going to do some promotion coming up for it, which should help.
Oh yeah.
And that's what you need. Like, if you want to win a contest like this and just get your name out there in front of everyone, and it's bragging rights. There's never been a 2-time champion ever. There's never been a repeat winner.
But so there's also, to me, there's a reason why we had Brotherhood in a 2 seed.
Yeah.
As opposed to AAR, who has way more star power that they're sponsoring right now. But Brotherhood we know is going to back it, and like you said, that youth community, man, they are flying high right now.
Now I will say, when we were doing seating, AAR is that high because of me. Like, I pushed for that just because I feel like the general, they're
agree.
out there a lot. They have a lot of star power out there.
Yeah, they need to be up that high. I mean, the Ripper's everywhere. I see a lot of
you
people.
see everybody throwing the Rippers all the time. Yeah, that's a popular bag.
That
I mean, the Guardian, is out there as well too.
They could win. I mean, the Ripper could win. They are like big
AAR
enough.
though is always kind of fizzled out on us though.
They haven't ever been this relevant though.
That's true. I mean, this last year I would probably say is their first year that they were in the bag game big time.
Yeah.
The question comes into me, like we're talking about Brotherhood and AR, is which one gets their pro players out promoting on social media? And I think Brotherhood has a lot of those younger players that have more social media presence.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see Jamie Graham, he's on social media, but I mean, I see a Tony Forbes out there if he really wants to promoting it to get people to come vote, right? If they care and they want to do that, I mean, it doesn't matter to them. That's the question, right?
Yeah.
Does this do anything? Does this do anything for them? Whereas, you talk about the ACO companies, if a CBC were to win it all, that matters to them because people are going to notice that. If Brotherhood or AAR wins it, it doesn't matter. I mean, look, what did it benefit BG winning? I mean, people already knew BG last year, right?
Validation. That's
but
really all.
Sub-Zero gained a ton from last year's
100%. This is not for the big guys. The big guys are going to get like the prize probably at the end, but this is for like a Sub-Zero. This is for Cooper's Bag, Woodwork Plus. I mean, like those companies you never heard of. And it's for the first round is to me the most fun when you're going through and you're going 8 matches a day, and probably half of the bag companies you've never even heard of, you didn't know they exist.
Yeah, but it's
you click on their Facebook page, you give them a follow, and that means a world to every bag company out there. So if you're voting on something, just go at least follow both of those pages.
I mean, I hope that this put in perspective for everyone that has been following these over the past couple of years, just how many bag companies there are. The fact that we have all unique bag makers this year. There are so many bags out there, folks. So do all of these companies a justice and go check them out. Give them a follow. Check out their stuff. There's nothing wrong with it.
Correct.
And even if you don't know either company, go look at them. Pick the one that you have the best designs, the one you like the best. Vote. Yeah. I'd say vote in every matchup. Put that vote in there.
Oh yeah,
for every one of them. And if one of them stands out more, you vote for. I mean, this is a popularity contest. This is your voting for.
Try to win some free stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If one of them's offering something, let them buy your vote. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. It's called politics, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah. and these bag companies can see. So if you vote for them at the end, they can see all the people that gave their reaction. So they can do a drawing for just the ones that voted for them, not for everybody. So if you want to get on their giveaway, you got to make sure you're voting for them.
Correct. And if the bag companies are smart, they're grinding like tonight when we go back, before I go to bed, I'm going to go open up every post. I'm going to look at the comments and I'm going to go through and throw an invite to every single person that's not following our page yet. It takes me hours every year to do this, but it's why we've grown by thousands of followers after this contest every single year. So the bag companies use this as your opportunity to market yourselves as much as you can, because you might only get one round. You might only get one chance at it and your name's going to be out there. But a lot of eyes see each post. You know what I mean? There might only have 300 votes or whatever, but you're still going to get like 15 to 20,000 people that are going to see the name of your bag company out there. So it's up to you to determine like how much you want to go with it.
Yeah, someone posted that Big Mac Bags.
They're also doing well. Yeah.
They're doing well against Young Guns. I was just looking at that. I missed that, but they're not winning yet, but they're putting up a pretty good show.
They started coming back pretty quick. Yeah, and I guess he's like a one guy show, like just makes bags and stuff, which is great. It means he's amassed a very loyal following. It's tough for the little guys to win. We know it's a popularity contest, 100%. We get it.
Yeah, so you got 256 for Young Guns, 222 for Big Mac, which Big Mac bags, I mean, they're not even stamped. Whatever is one of my favorite bags, a fabulous bag. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why we put them at 24. Because I mean,
did he have a bag? Was it like Obedient or something like that? Mike?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we reviewed that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I don't know why
it's an Obedient. Yeah, okay. I have that up here.
Sweet.
It's like a Costello X Surefire.
Yeah. I remember it.
Yep. It's a good bag. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I've reviewed several of his bags, and he makes great bags. I really am a fan of his bags, which is again, the whole point of this, right, is to bring recognition to those small companies that are making great quality bags that people may not have been aware of. Right.
Correct. So, and if a company's losing in the first round and they get like 300 plus votes, that's just a tough draw. You know what I mean? Like you did your job. You know what I mean? Like it's just the other company. And it just happened. But especially being independent, getting that many, it's a good run. So hopefully he can pull it out. It'd be kind of cool.
It would be sweet.
Yeah, I always love this, and I'm excited to see how and the other thing we haven't mentioned too on here is the brackets are on Scorholio, so you can go on Scorholio and you can follow along with. I'm assuming they're going to be updated every day after the
it's the next few days for sure, because I'll be off work from Wednesday for the rest of the week. So the next few days, enjoy like a nice updated bracket. But then when I go back to work, it just depends on do I have a patient or not after lunch, whether or not the brackets get updated. They'll be updated daily, but I try to do everything as close to 12 as I can. But I gotta make sure that all the posts go up first, and then just announce the winners from the previous day, and then go update the brackets. But at least by that night every day,
if you check back by dinner time, a little after dinner, it'll be updated.
Correct. Yeah, so when you log in at dinner time to place your votes for that day, you can then check Scorholio's brackets. And see.
I do want to throw one apology out there to Elite Bag Company. I accidentally, when I was posting them up today, I kind of got in a groove and I made it live by accident. It was only up for 3 minutes. I took it down, so it's going to be reposted tomorrow. So that was the votes that were already placed. Unfortunately, did not count. There's only 18 total at the time. I know. I'm just letting you know. So it was my bad. In case you might not even have noticed it, but it was up. There were some votes. So it was actually the first time I've ever done that. So it's like I was mad at myself.
I'm surprised at 18 votes in 3 minutes of post. I guess people were probably ready for those posts going at noon though.
It was like prime time. It was like 7 o'clock. People just finished eating dinner. Maybe kids are down, been down in their bed with the phones. So it's just timing thing. So we'll see.
So real quick for In The Bag Cornhole, what are the criteria for getting the bracket? Are there some companies not included?
Yeah,
I mean, you guys want to answer that?
So really, we went through. I think we have representation for pretty much almost every ACL company and every ACO company. Pretty much, like at least 90% of the ACO bags. And then there were some favorites of ours through the years that we've reviewed bags that were non-stamped that we thought should be included. Really, it just comes down to how easy were you able to find it? Because when we get down to I'd say we did a pretty easy job of 100. We got to 100 pretty quick. We're like, oh, this is gonna be easy. And then we're like, oh shit, we still have 28 left.
Mm-hmm.
When we're grinding, we're going through lists like this. One of our things was, if you have a Facebook page, all right, we're going to include you. If you don't, and there's no information on you, how you're going to promote it, you might not even know you're in the contest. I'm not going to take that opportunity away from another company that could potentially
for sure.
So that's when it got down to the nitty gritty, that's really what it was. And then we wanted to put American Cornhole Association in there just because this is one of the lowest rated bags we've ever done ever. So we just thought it'd be kind of funny to throw them in one year against a number one seed. So we'll see.
And if you want to get in there, the best way to get in there is to make yourself known to Sean and Dane or myself or whoever. I think pretty much any company that has supported us or sent bags are in this in the bracket. I mean, that was the first part of the list, was what companies have been supportive or sent bags out to us. We're putting them on the bracket, and then it got to the point where there was a handful of bags where we were just going through the list, just who stands out, what name makes us laugh.
Shout out to Angry Panda, Dumpster Fire bags. Just fun names like that were kind of funny. I would just say we don't do bag reviews as often as we once did. We still do them every once in a while, but if you go to harddragpush.com, if you go to our podcast page on there, we have what's called the Bagopedia, where it's every bag we've reviewed over the last 6 years. I think there's 430 something series of bags. Some of them are not around anymore, but you can go and find out our ratings of the bags, a little bit out what episode is on, time stamped, all that stuff. So between the two shows here, probably 600 series of bags, I think would probably be safe to say we've probably reviewed. Easy.
There's probably some overlap and
unique. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I'm saying probably 600 easy. But yeah, it's as long as one of the two shows know about it, you're gonna have a pretty good shot of making it. So
it's always around this time. So just reach out after the new year.
Correct.
So quick question here. I don't know if you want to say who specifically is up, but I thought it was a good question to talk about.
Yep.
Yeah. When do the posts go up, and how are you doing it? How are you putting the matchups up?
Yep. So every day at noon, I have the post set up on Facebook. They'll automatically go out. At noon, I close the former, the former 8 that were up the day before. And in the comment section, I'll basically type in closed and I'll tag the winner in it. And then I move on to the next one. So every day at 12 o'clock, the posts get released on our page. There's going to be 8 a day, at least through the first 2 rounds. And then we'll kind of assess if 8's too many and kind of stuff. But 8 matchups a day, first 2 rounds. We're going to go East bracket. We started with the first 8 from there. And now tomorrow we're going to jump over to the West bracket and we're going to do 8. And so we're going to kind of go back and forth from the East bracket to the West bracket, just so they kind of finish up evenly as we go throughout this.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be what, like a 2-week long?
I think, what was the final countdown? I think it was like 14 days, like something like that.
Something like that.
It's going to be somewhere like 14 to 17 total days of like going on doing this, right around there. But
just get in a habit you don't have to be at noon, but just find a time every day.
Yep.
You go on there, pull up the Big Asp Cornhole Facebook page and do your vote. It doesn't take long to do your reaction, but just find a time so you don't miss it. Do it every day. And the nice thing on Scoreholio is you can go see, as the bracket goes, you can see pick your favorite bag and see who they're playing, which means you can also vote against those bags if you want. If you know you're going to face, BG in 3 rounds, if you win, maybe you want to eliminate them before then. Right? You want to knock them out.
Correct.
So rally your troops. If you're a bag, rally your troops to go against them a few rounds before you get to you. Yeah. So just throwing it out there. But
no, it's very true. It's very true. So
it's all fair. There's no. Well, I think the only rule is no bots. Other than that, it's all legal.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, this is the only thing we vote is that we ask, just no bots. But ultimately, we have no control, and
that's true.
It's fun.
That is true.
All right. I'm gonna put the last giveaway up here real quick, and that is for the backpack. Which, if you haven't tried these new backpacks, they're incredible. They've got 6 different colors up here as well. The backpack. To get the backpack, I want you to guess how many total videos I've uploaded on my channel, and that's the YouTube shorts I do. I do my Thursday, what's my bag segments. It's the shorts there. It's the full reviews. Any video I've uploaded. And there are videos that are now no longer active or no longer public because I've done an updated review on them or something like that. So this is total number and I started January of 2023 was my January 2022 was my first upload. This is I'm on 3 years now. I've got the number written down here. Again, I'm going to tape that up there so there's no question, right? So total number of videos. I got to make sure I got the right number here. I had to look that up myself. I didn't even know.
Sean's already looking.
I don't know if YouTube gives you the total number. I think they do. There's a way to find the total number of public.
I think if you're on your phone,
channel.
I think if you're on a web browser, you can, but I don't think like from the app you can.
But I just want to make it clear that the
that's a lot of fucking.
The total number posted. There are some that are no longer that are unlisted or private because I've done update reviews or my first review ever. It's not even on my channel. But I took it down. It was the 724 Chaos, but it was just such a bad review. I couldn't leave it up there. It didn't last very long. One of these days I'm gonna go back and do I'm gonna play that and do my reaction to my first review because it was really bad.
And I've always wanted us to if we had the video of our original podcast, dub over it and just say how awkward we were, but we don't have the video, unfortunately.
Thank God. Yeah, because we didn't have the tech. We were basically taping our phone to a microphone stand and praying that it was going to record everything we said.
That's the great thing about, in fact, there's one person who's really close. That's the great thing about YouTube is it's all there, right? It's all still there. I can go back to my first video I put up there, and I haven't watched that video in forever because it was awful. Eric with 2,500. I'm not quite that. I haven't put that many up yet, Eric. That's a lot.
Oh yeah, it's right there. I don't know if that. No, I think that's the number. I think that is the number. Total.
Well, it's the current, but again, he has a bunch that are inactive now. So
yeah,
ruins the fun for everybody, Mike.
It was fun for me because I thought what I thought it was, and turned out it was more than I thought it was. So
that's a lot of videos.
Does it make you second guess everything? You're like, man, did you look at the overall duration?
Well, think about all right. Let's turn the number of videos into hours spent doing it. You know what I mean?
That's the problem because when I first started, a 10-minute video would almost take me 10 hours of actual recording. And,
how long does it take you to do a bag review video now?
I
can if I want to, I could push around about 3 hours now.
Okay.
From recording it, the throwing, recording the thing.
Now?
What's that?
Are you good enough? Are you a one take now?
So I now know I'm better at editing. So when I first started doing it, I would record until I hit it all in one take, the talking part, and I would do it 5 or 6 or 7 times. But now I know how to stop and pick back up and make it easy to edit. I know how to do it so that the cuts are easier. The other thing is I know when I go out to throw, I used to go out and throw for like 3 hours and just clip that footage and then sift through that. Now when I'm throwing, I know if I want to keep that clip or not. And so I can star my clips while I'm throwing. I come back, delete everything but the ones I starred. And so it saves me a ton of time. I still throw for a lot because that's my practice time as well. So when I have free time, I'm recording videos, but I'm also practicing. So but yeah, I mean, if I really want to push one out, I mean, because I can once I have everything recorded, I can edit in like a little over an hour now. I've gotten so good at editing because it's at least the review because I do them. It's the same format.
Yeah,
so it's real quick and easy to edit it, and I know what I'm doing. The color correcting, everything is so simple because I've done it so much. So it's like every time I do one, I get better at it, or I learn also different shortcuts, stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
But I'm also a tweaker to where I'm always trying to change something, do something different. You know, it's that whole thing where I want to make it a little bit better. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I make it worse on myself.
Oh yeah, no, God bless technology. I'll say that.
Yes,
it saved us hours upon hours.
Honestly, just even in the last 5 years, it's been just incredible the amount of stuff that has come out to help with podcasting and doing video stuff. I mean, OBS is
and this just goes for everyone that's listening too. Like I can't tell you how many times we've had people come up to us and be like, I've always thought about starting a podcast. Like, is it hard to start? We literally started from my phone.
Yeah.
We bought like a little what we called it?
It was a condenser
audio interface, right? Yeah. It was basically just something that we can plug microphones into that would connect to my phone. We bought all the stuff.
I2IC.
Correct. Yes, correct. And it was literally a piece of thing, and we were able to make it work. And then over time, we just organically started upgrading equipment. And but it's super easy to start. Like, and it's the relatively cost. You can the phones are so good now, and the microphones and the new phones. You don't even need like a legit mic. If you just go in a quiet room.
Yeah,
like you can talk, like it's fine. Like
we throw in your AirPods and do whatever you want. Like it's all those mics are really good nowadays.
Correct.
And the one thing I'll say too is when you're starting out, it's the first few times it's gonna suck anyway.
Oh yeah,
just do it. Just do it. Don't even worry about what it's gonna be because I go back and watch my early reviews and I cringe. They're awful, but I learned something from doing them, and that you're not gonna learn it until you do it. So just I tell people all the time, they ask me about reviews. Just start doing reviews. Don't even worry about how many views you get. Just do it, put it up there, and do the next one. Because no one's going to watch, no one's going to listen when you first start. It doesn't matter. They're going to be awful, but you're going to learn something and get better. And if you keep doing it, that's all. Right. It's all about repetition and doing it and just getting a little bit better every time. And eventually you'll get your.
YouTube's tough too because you have to get really good at thumbnails, which is something I think you're very good at. The consistent thumbnails is a huge part of and release schedule on YouTube is huge. I mean, consistent.
Yeah, YouTube is about repetition. People knowing when it's going to be there. Correct. YouTube is also really good at recommending content to you. So I love YouTube. Their algorithm is great because you don't have to subscribe, and YouTube still will show my content if you're watching my content.
Yeah, very true.
I would say it doesn't mean you don't have to subscribe. I would appreciate that, but it's better than what it used to be. But YouTube is tough starting out because you got to you don't grow initially because YouTube doesn't know who watches your content, so it doesn't recommend it. So my first 6 months, I think I was so frustrated because no one was watching my videos. I was like, this doesn't like I almost gave up many times in there because no one was watching. But for some reason, I just kept doing it because I enjoyed it. And then all of a sudden, something clicked and it started picking up, and then it just grew like crazy. It just takes. Once YouTube figures out who your audience is, then it takes off. And so
it's hard. I mean, we're into it. Like we're going into year 6 right now. We were very late to the YouTube game. Like we were just an audio podcast, and then once upon a time, like, oh, I guess maybe we should do like a YouTube page and start doing videos. But there was no consistency to it. And I understood the podcast side of things and how to grow that organically on Apple and Spotify. But I was very late to learning the YouTube. And now for us, most of the videos we reserve for Patreon people, you know what I mean? So like, I'm not overly concerned about like a consistent release schedule going out there. Like our podcast automatically goes up to YouTube, which is great. And it does okay. But most of our stuff has still always been like audio stuff. And the videos are just for Patreon people that for some reason want to see us.
Yeah.
Like for whatever reason it is.
We're not pretty.
No, never claimed to be.
No.
And so for those of you that want to start a YouTube channel or a podcast, my advice is just do it. Just start it and figure it out later. Because I mean, like, yeah. And you talked about your phone and stuff. Like I still use my phone for recording my talking because it's a great camera. It really is. It's like I've upgraded as I went along, but initially All I had was I had a little GoPro and I had my phone, and that was all I had. I didn't have a microphone, nothing. And I just started putting stuff out there. And then eventually, I would save a little money up and go buy a better microphone or go buy a better tripod or do something like little pieces at a time. But if you've got a phone, these new smartphones, the cameras are incredible, 4K video right off your phone. That's all you need. Just do that.
For sure. And you have to like doing it. If it feels like work ever, then like you're screwed. Like if you're into it and you're 3 months in and like you're not looking forward to go like editing the video or coming up with what you're going to talk about, then you just don't do it. Like you have to really like doing it because it's a lot of work. I think that's the one thing that most people don't maybe understand. I think there are like obviously loyal listeners and followers and everything that understand how much it is, and I think that's part of the reason they put it out. But it's a lot of work every single week to put this out, and that's why there's only a few of us left. You know what I mean? Like how many people have come and tried to make content consistently in cornhole and they just kind of peter out after a while?
Yeah, I mean we just have the luxury of you and I have been talking to each other since birth.
Yeah, so I mean we're going to be talking anyway, so we might as well
exactly. So just record it. It's pretty easy.
Looking back, I probably should have picked a different sport than cornhole too, right? It's also a niche sport, so it's a tougher.
We talk about your audience. We talk about this every day. If we would have started doing this podcast about golf rather than cornhole,
I think we'd be in a completely different place right now.
Honestly, we would be in 100% different place. Yeah. We really would be, and just because we were before the big boom of YouTube golf and it was really getting popular, but yeah, I mean, but don't get me wrong, like we love cornhole still. I love the people and everything, and I love that. Rest in peace, Corbin. Yeah. So true. He retired, but he's coming back because people send him bags. So I love Corbin's stuff too. I mean, he was very integral, and he's helped us out with Best of the Bags. I think it was like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
He was on there. But yeah, he's a good dude, like Corbin.
Yeah, I mean Corbin. When I started, Corbin and Eddie were the two that I kind of watched.
Yeah, shout out to Eddie too. Yeah, but Eddie's like a bag maker now, so he's like, yeah. Let
me give away this.
Yeah, what was the answer? I'm interested to hear.
I've got it right here. So we had one that was close. I'm gonna get because I went close without going. Someone actually was one off, but they went over. So Mike was 623 is the closest. The answer is actually 626.
Nice.
26 videos.
I was gonna say 616.
I was gonna call you a loser, but like that's kind of impressive. Like, geez, oh man.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying they're all good videos, right? Some of them need a lot of views, so they weren't all great, but.
You never know when it'll pop off, though.
No,
sometimes those will just come out of the blue, and people.
You're already doing really well on YouTube, though. Like,
yeah.
I think you're like in terms of cornhole followings, like you're doing very well on YouTube.
So, Mike, send me an email, MikesCornholeBags@gmail.com, and I'll get that information, your name and address to In The Bag Cornhole. Shout out to In The Bag Cornhole too for sponsoring this, providing the giveaways, guys. They jumped in right away and wanted to give these. They wanted to give away 4 giveaways, not just one. So, shout out to them. Go check them out, InTheBagCornhole.com for all your cornhole accessories. I've also got reviews of a ton of their products on my channel. But yeah, I mean, like it's easier to do good once you start. It's easier to grow once you start growing on YouTube. It's gotten so much simpler. It's still a lot of work, but like now I put a video up and within hours I see views, right? Before I put a video up, it might go days where I got more than 10 views on it when I first started. So and that's the hard part. I always tell people when you're starting something, don't worry about the analytics. Don't look at the numbers. Don't look at the views. Don't look at subscribers. Just put content out. In fact, when I started, one thing I didn't do is I didn't promote initially because I was talking to people and they said, if you promote and someone comes to your channel and you have 2 videos, what are they gonna watch? Right after they watch 2, they're done. So it's like they told me wait until I've got 10 or 15 videos up, and then put out when they show up, they can binge watch if they like the content.
I think I don't know. That is one way to look at it, but I'm also too like I don't care how many videos. If I liked your content, I'm gonna subscribe just so that I have to subscribe to like 50 different people so that I get notified when something new comes up, and then I'll have that option of like, all right, it's like a curated list of stuff.
Am I in the mood to watch this today, or am I gonna watch this?
And I will say, if you are really interested about starting something organically, if you're interested in this well enough, like you're going to get interested in like the analytics side.
Yes.
And I tell people all the time, like, go listen to interviews that like Mr. Beast does, like the business side of things. Like I listen to his stuff all the time because he gets it. Like there's a reason he's the #1 guy, because he knows how to beat the algorithm. And it sounds stupid, but like we're constantly playing this game in social media that you have to stay on top of. And when you post on Facebook is different than you do Instagram, and when you do TikTok, and when you do YouTube. And it sounds stupid, but if you want to meet the most people, there's no secret why we post on Wednesdays. Because we can use Sunday and Monday, which are the most popular days on Facebook, to promote our stuff. And all of our posts, memes, reels, any of that stuff is always on a Monday. Always. And then the rest of the week, we just kind of coast. And like, if there's something funny that happens in cornhole world, we're commenting on it. But cornhole is king on Sunday, Monday, and a little bit on Tuesday. The rest of the week, it's worth a shit. It just is, like, across the board. And I'm sure you've noticed on YouTube, there's certain days and times if you release a video, that's the honey hole.
So over the years, I've moved around, but Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are the 3 best days for my reviews. I put them out noon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yep. If I move them to a Tuesday or Thursday, they don't do as well. It's the same review, but I just move the day, and it like the numbers drop off. So I've just gotten that down for me, and then other content fills in there. But yeah, it's
smart though, because like your length videos are perfect for like my lunch break. I have like 15.
Well, that's why I do noon.
Correct.
People tell me all the time during lunch they watch my review, and so I always try to make sure it's up there at noon, because that's when, noon Eastern time. That's when everybody starts going to lunch, and then throughout, as the time zones go, it's there for people to watch on their lunch break. A lot of times, what's over there, they'll get together and 3 or 4 of them will watch my review. Yeah. Although I wish they'd watch on their own devices separately, but they'll watch it at one time when they're eating lunch. So, but yeah, I mean, it's you have to play that game, that numbers game, and you have to play the logarithm if you want to grow, right? It's part of it. I love like, I go to the wormhole, Mr. Beast and like Dude Perfect's another good one to watch and stuff. But there are a ton of people out there that put content out on how to grow on social media, YouTube, 100%. Whatever. I mean, the problem is it changes all the time. Like, what worked 6 months ago doesn't work now. It's crazy.
Well,
it's just,
the problem is you go and watch their videos and you see their following and you're like, but you only have like 100 subscribers yourself. Who are you to tell me what to do?
I asked my daughter, like, for like thumbnails and stuff. I'm not ashamed. Like, I asked my daughter and like my next door neighbor who's like 9. I'll ask him, like, which one do you guys like better? Like,
yeah.
If you're looking at this one, which one are you guys just drawn to more? Like, which colors, which pictures, like, which one do you think would get you to click on it? So I've asked like kids before, just come interested. Like, they're the ones that are on YouTube scrolling through, clicking on all this stuff.
Like, you have no attention span.
My daughter will be just innocently scrolling on YouTube, and she'll just stop, see a random video, and click. I'm like, what made you click on that one? And she like looks at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no, but there was something. Like, was it the topic? Was it the font? Was it the bright colors? And all that shit matters. And it kind of sucks, but it's kind of fun too to figure it out.
I do that too. When my kids are watching, I'll do the same thing. Hey, why did you click on that one? I do. I want to know. I want to know. And even myself, sometimes I stop and click and I go, wait, what made me stop on that video? What was it about that? Was it the colors? Was it the name? I've learned too, like, if you ever watched like Mr. Beast, he always has his face on the thumbnail because you know who he is.
Yeah.
And so if he put a thumbnail that didn't have his face, you wouldn't recognize right away as a Mr. Beast thumbnail. So these guys always have their image because they're recognizable. It's stuff like that, and it's it's intriguing to me, kind of the psychology of it and how that all works and how we play into it. But it doesn't, like, the font you use, the color, all that stuff makes a difference whether someone clicks on it or not. And just getting somebody to click on it makes all the difference in the world. If they just pass right by it, you don't even get a chance to get their view. So it's
Texas Cornhole has an interesting point. Do you think there are enough cornhole YouTube viewers to make it worth it? It depends on what your definition of making it worth it. Like, if you're talking about like you want to do this full time, if it was possible, like, I would be doing this full time. Yeah. Like, what I mean? Like, there's no secret. I would love to be doing this full time. And if there's some secret donor that's watching this, I'm sure Mike would love to go full time doing this stuff too. So like, if you want to, like, I'm not opposed to having like a sugar daddy or something. Yeah, I mean, like, we can make something work. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it really just depends on what's your level of success. If you still like doing it, and I'm assuming this is John that we're talking to, and who I love, and was former sponsor of our show once upon. But like, what's your level of success? Like, for us, like, as long as the show continues to pay for itself and allows us to travel to continue to promote the show, then to me, that's a success. Like, I know I'm never going to get rich doing this. We picked the wrong sport, unfortunately. It's just not getting big enough fast enough. I'm hopeful. Fingers crossed, wish upon a star that it happens one day and it blows up and cornhole's the most popular thing, because then guess what, Mike, we all might be able to do this full time, but unfortunately as of right now, no. But I enjoy doing it. That's why we keep doing it.
Yeah,
I think for me, if I didn't think there were enough viewers, I probably wouldn't still be. I think there's potential. Just the sport's at a crossroad here of where they're going to go and which direction. And I mean, we're kind of dependent on the ACL and the ACO, the TCO, like, taking the sport to the next level. But for me right now, like, when I started out, it wasn't like this is expensive. Initially starting out, it was expensive. It cost me money all the time. I'm finally at the point now where I'm not making a great hourly wage doing this. Like, if I break myself down the hours I put into it, it's not that well, but
yeah,
it's not costing me money to do this, so I can afford to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And because, like you said, I love doing it. I love all the different materials and the bags. And I mean, that's what got me to it was how the bags play different when you make a small change, right? All that stuff intrigues me. So I love doing that. And this gives me a way to kind of share that passion. But the viewers are, I mean, my viewership keeps going up and up. My subscribers keep growing all the time. So it hasn't hit a point where it stopped. It's still growing.
There's a billion people on YouTube, man. Like there's so many people, you know what I mean? And we're asking for like, can we get to 20,000? You know what I mean? Can like, you know what I mean? Can we get like some small number where it's doing something like this is sustainable and it kind of takes care of itself?
Well, again, like we've gone over it though. Cornhole's growing.
It is.
But our problem is that we're so hyper focused on the competitive side of cornhole that we don't really see the sport growing quite as fast.
Yeah, that's why we've had it over the years.
Yeah.
I have so many ideas for content. It's just having the time to do it, right? Because I have a full-time job. I can't just go like I would love to. When I talked about the mic up to pros, I'd love to go to a tournament and follow a pro like for a few tournaments backstage and behind the scenes. I think that's content. But I think YouTube is the future of TV, right? YouTube's going to replace TV, or at least some. If it's not YouTube, so I think network TV is going away. Like my kids never turn on. Like I have YouTube TV.
I don't either.
They don't watch it. They're on YouTube.
Sports.
They're on Instagram. They're on TikTok. Right? They're not watching it. And I'm the same way. I'm pretty much. I always go to YouTube first when I want to watch content. And so I think eventually there's a point where the advertisers have to advertise. They're going to come to YouTube. They're starting to do it now. I mean, you've got YouTubers that are making tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars a year doing YouTube content. So YouTube is worth it. And there's enough cornhole players that care about cornhole. It's just, I don't know if everybody's aware of that there's content out there for them. I get people all the time say, I didn't know that you had a YouTube channel. And I'm I want to be like, where were you?
I think like this is one of those times where, especially YouTube golf, I think really started. I know we're going to go back to golf again. YouTube golf is booming right now, right? It's probably the biggest like YouTube entity that's growing right now. I think the reason that they were successful in the beginning is because that all these independent people were not afraid of collaborating, and they looked at this as a group effort. And we want this whole thing called YouTube golf to grow. We want this game of cornhole to grow. And for whatever reason, there's always been this like level of competition, like even off the boards when it comes to like cornhole businesses and stuff, especially when it comes to like social media. I can't tell you how many times a new podcast starts off and I reach out to them and be like, hey, if you ever need the guests or if you guys want to come on to promote our stuff, and there's always like, oh, we're going to do like our own thing. Like this kind of like keeping us at arm's length. I want the more of us, the better.
Exactly.
The more exposure that we can get to everyone out there, the better. So like, I'm hoping like we can continue to collaborate and work together. You know what I mean? Like it's what I've always wanted. That's why we named our website Hard Drag Push Network. Like my dream was to bring us all together in one spot, one central location. We're just pumping out content all the time. Unfortunately, you realize when you can't pay people much, it's hard to expect them to, write things and do things for free all the time. And, this hope and dream that we're going to get seen by Barstool Sports or something one day, it just seems like it's further away, but you never know. But I think like if we continue to collaborate and work with all the newer people that are coming out with content, I think that goes a long way, just kind of making it more, accessible and attainable to start something.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about YouTube golf. I think of Good, right? They all have their individual YouTube channels. They come together and do good. And to me, it's the more people out there, the better. Because if Corbin brings a new viewer into the YouTube review world, they're going to find my content. So him bringing a new one in, I'm going to gain a new subscriber probably, and vice versa. So it's like we're not competing because they can listen and follow both of our content. It's not like if I get somebody, you lose them, right? And there's a lot of overlap between our people that follow us, but there's also people that of mine that didn't know you guys existed, and probably vice versa. So the collaboration helps both of us reach new people, get new followers, new subscribers. And I mean, to me, the more people that come into the cornhole YouTube world, the cornhole podcast world, it makes what we do more relevant, more real. I think it makes it. I mean, I think people take us more seriously if there's more people doing it than just a couple of us.
Just not even going on the content route. Like it's actually ironic that John was listening, if he's still on. Actually, the last time I talked to John, we had this like longer conversation, and he actually brought up a really good point that's kind of like struck a chord with me. We want the game to grow, right? But we have constantly pit like leagues up against each other. So although like we're pushing like ACO versus ACL versus TCL, like it's just like a marketing thing. Like I want everyone to do well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if the ACO comes up and continues to grow and do well across the country, it's still good for all of us.
100%.
Right? There's still more people playing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like I want every league. So like I just think that it needs to be clear. Like I wish there was not this like clear competition between all the leagues, and like we can figure out a way to like what's just best to get the most people playing this game, and then we can kind of figure out like what the best professional route is. And it doesn't always have to be like an us versus them kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It should be all like, hey, we're all cornhole, we all like this game together. Who cares where you play it? Like we all just
they all took different avenues to almost achieve the same goal.
For sure.
So
for sure.
Well, and for a lot of us too, you know, sometimes you only have one option. You don't have ACO and ACL in your area. You've got one or the other, and so you're forced to pick. But I mean, if you're not an ACL pro, you can play in different leagues. You don't have to pick one. You can play ACO. You can play ACL. If you're in the area with TCLs, you can play TCL. So I mean, you have those options to play. And honestly, I've said that before, that you can make more money if you're good and you're placing in the ACO and you're placing the ACL Advance. You can make just as much money as pros make just playing one league.
For sure.
Because you can double dip in those and double dip sponsorships and all that stuff. So,
well, we're going to see the fall of the advanced division in the ACL next year, when all the pros that are no longer qualified are going to go to ACO. They're going to go to ACO, play pro. They're still going to come to ACL tournaments, play advanced. And then you're going to have all the advanced players bitching that the former pros are playing in there. They're going to move down to competitive. Competitive is going to become the new advanced. And then you're going to have intermediate, and it's going to be so difficult. We're going to scare new players away. That's like what I'm afraid of. Is like this trickle down.
Well, then you just need more divisions, Sean.
I know, right? And then we're going to backyard, and then backyard beginner, and then training wheels with backyard players, and like, it's be crazy.
Yeah, I can just imagine all the people bitching and griping on Facebook about. Now the advance is all the pros shooting 10 plus.
It's easy content though. It's great. So
it is. So. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, even John's putting out content when he's streaming.
Oh, he's great.
Streams, you know, AJ's events on there. I love that. Like, that's something about YouTube is when I go on YouTube, if there's cornhole being streamed, it's probably recommended to me and I can find it. I don't care who it is, local league, whatever. Yeah. And I love watching that kind of stuff.
John, I still owe him a rematch. So we gotta.
I mean, I still got to get down to see AJ's. So.
It's so cool.
I know. We keep talking about it.
Every club wants that.
Mm-hmm. I want to.
All right, we're gonna real quick, Robert. My next bag review, it's probably gonna be the Rocket Bags Voodoo. That was the bag I was out the other day throwing. Either that. I also worked on True Cornhole Venom. One of those two are probably coming. Maybe both of them come out this week. My bad thing is I don't plan out too far in advance. I'll throw a lot of bags, a lot of videos, and it's like I try to get a good mix of different, like carpet bag here, a fast bag here. The problem is there's so many hybrid bags in there. Like I feel like every other review or 3 of every 5 reviews are hybrid bags. And I know people get tired of them. And I don't get tired of them, but it's the world. It's tough to get variety in reviews. So I'm trying to get some faster bags in there.
And once upon a time, those materials were just called Turbo and Reba. You know what I mean? Like it's just now it's just different now these days. You know.
Well, I mean, when Maddie came out with the Razor bag with Rave, you know, I mean, that was a game changer right there. I mean, it really was
the first game changer.
It was game changer,
like, pretty much. Yeah.
That's
the theory. That's behind Frank Modlin, is that he got his hands on a set of those bags, and he's like, how do we use this material? Yeah,
these feel nice.
They were throwing slide rates back then with the suede on them, so that was a completely different bag. So
correct.
All right, well, Sean and Dane, we went on here for over 2 hours now, so I appreciate you guys coming on here. It's been fun. I enjoyed the chat. I hope that people watching have enjoyed this.
Oh yeah, brother.
The best of the bag started today. It's live. Round 1 still going on, so get on there and vote before noon tomorrow. Get your vote in for the first round. Every day, get on there and vote. You know, pick a bag. I don't care what if you like the name of the bag, you like the color of the bags, like the designs, whatever. Get on there and vote. Vote for all of them.
Oh yeah.
So, and if you don't know the bags, hit on their Facebook page, find out about them, like their page, if they had a website,
vote blindly. We don't care. Just vote.
Great.
And for you bag makers out there as well, this is the time to make sure your Facebook page and websites are updated. Make sure that you have.
You know you're going to get traffic
information. Yeah, you want people there, and make sure when they show up, they see stuff. And please have pictures of the actual bags on your website or whatever. I hate when they do the renderings. I want to see the actual bag photo on the website, on the product page. I want to see
this little thing called ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT to come up with a little description of your cornhole bag.
Oh yes.
I mean, and put that on the website. And then if you're brand new and you're reading about this, like you might have some understanding of what you're getting, because 99% of the people that are going on the website have no idea like what hybrid carpet means and like how fast that would be. So just a little description goes a long way.
Yep. So guys, thanks for coming out, for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. I thank you guys for having me on your show last week. So if you guys
we'll do it again.
Check that out, there's a Facebook Live we did last week on their show, on their Facebook page, as well as their podcasts.
We got to get you on the show just as a normal guest, though, so we can have more fun.
Yeah,
we can definitely do that.
All right, we'll do that for sure.
So
it might just be a full random episode because we've gone over everything already. So.
But there's
we've gone over all cornhole stuff, right? We haven't talked like non-cornhole stuff much.
Correct.
Very
We'll
true.
talk about life, man.
Yeah. How about that?
There's a lot more to me than cornhole that people don't know about. So.
Ooh. Oh, look at that!
He's more than just
the
a
teaser
hole,
already.
right?
The teaser right there. That's right. There we go.
We'll use that to market that. There we go.
Does he secretly lacquer steel?
I don't know. Maybe. Oh.
Are you a juggler?
Yeah, correct.
No, I can juggle, but no.
Fair enough.
So anyway, I thank you guys for tuning in for this. I really appreciate you coming out and supporting me. If you get a chance, jump over to the Big Asp Cornhole Facebook page, give their page a follow. If wherever you get podcasts, I'm sure they're everywhere where you get podcasts. You can download the podcast every week. It comes out. If you like my content, I'm sure you're going to love their content, because if you're watching mine, you're a cornhole nerd, and that's right. Theirs is
This guy.
that stuff, but it's even funnier. It's more humor involved in there. So definitely check them out. Thank you guys again for showing. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Sean and Dane, for coming out and joining me on this. I appreciate it.
Later, guys.
Very much.
We'll do this again soon.
Sounds good.
And